Welcome to another episode of Good Earners Reviewing the Sopranos. And here on Good Earners, we like to talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective. I'm not alone, even though y'all know me as Maurice Hunt III. I'm here with my co-host Spike Lou, Big Rich Town. How you fellas doing?
We got demoted from co-host from capos to co-host, man.
Co-host.
The envelopes. The envelopes.
They're getting light.
I told you, you only good as my two capos here. Let me reword it here.
What's good with your family?
Nothing, man. Again, man, it's getting crazier every episode, man. It's just to know this. I ain't trying to get extra sentimental every time, but it's like I just be seeing memes and different stuff. I'm like, man, I remember when we covered that. Dang, I remember the Ralph era. Dang, I remember the Richie era. Like, it's like crazy to me. It's like this is going to be a huge accomplishment, fellas. You know, I think we're in that, setting goal and accomplishing goal phase right now. It's like you talked about 100 episodes and on deck with 10 years, and this will be finishing a full series. I guess this is another episodes. Just another thing to put on that notch of like commitment, consistency, and coverage, and we got one of our comments when I read it was one of the highest honors that we could have received, in my opinion, is what had me really reflecting even more. So when we
was it from Vito?
Vito, the real Vito, hit us, email us again. Come on, man. That's how Clay to Fade, the real Vito that reached out. Oh man, that is funny. But before Spike Lou gives us the synopsis of the episode, of course, we like to acknowledge the supporters of ours. So, without further ado, let's get into those. Not too much this week, so a little bit more coverage in the episode. So our first comment comes from YouTube on our episode, season 6, episode 8, Johnny Cakes. It's from Roland. I'm gonna just say Roland. I don't want to mispronounce your name. So, but he says the guy that stood in front of AJ at the club, I believe, was shaking him down for $200 because AJ is in the club with his buddies and underage and drinking and all that. That's what I got from the scene. Great stuff, guys. Keep it going. Thanks.
Interesting. Makes sense too.
Yeah, you can definitely tax that. But again, see, if AJ was smart enough, he could have flipped the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, no, y'all serving us. I'm gonna get this club shut down. But he ain't obviously got that type of juice or whatever. But that's a good observation, Roland. I ain't never look at it like that, but that's a good point.
I ain't even gonna hold you, man. My bad. What did he actually say?
He was just saying the little guy at the club. No, you good. The little guy at the club. He pretty much was shaking AJ down for $200 because they were underage and drinking.
Man, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm still AJ Soprano, man. Get the fuck out my face.
That's what I'm like, bro.
The fuck out my knee, nigga.
Oh.
Yeah, man, go somewhere, bro. What you talking about? Underage, nigga.
Hey, yo, that was so good. Oh my god. Oh man, y'all, man, where y'all gonna get this type of age from a Sopranos podcast? Seriously.
Yeah, man. Get the fuck out my bro. Step over you, Tyronn Lue style, bro. Get the fuck out my face.
Yeah, seriously though. That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Me as an individual, I'm not talking about age. I'm just talking about me as an individual. Like, I would laugh. I would literally laugh. Like, bro, what you expecting from me? What you gonna do if I don't give it to you? That's what I want to know. Yeah. I want you to riddle me that. What are you gonna do if I don't give you this bread?
You can hit him with the simplest line. Do you know who I know?
Nigga, do you know who I am? I'd have been a whole different nigga if I was AJ Soprano. I'd have had a spinoff like Tariq and them. Like, nigga, they would have made a show about me. If I was AJ, nigga, I'd have been in the street shaking.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd have been in the street shaking.
Man, but thank you, Roland, for that comment on our episode. We appreciate it. Our next one is from season 6, episode 8, Johnny Cakes, from Kiori. He says, a small town in a rural area is the only place where that old guy could interrupt Vito's and Johnny Cake's conversation. Do that in the city, and that dude would get checked real quick. In Japan, there's restaurants that offer solo dining where there's only one person stalls and dividers so you can avoid talking with everyone, including the servers, and not have to deal with people like that. Yo.
They might be on to something out there.
And that sounds like a Spike Lee restaurant right there.
I was just gonna say that sounds amazing.
That is.
Yeah,
that might be a Rick's restaurant too.
Yeah, nah, straight up, bro. Don't talk to me, give me my food. Let me bounce.
Amazing, bro.
Yo, man. Shout out to Kiori, man, giving us those cultural references, man. I love it.
I love those gems.
Japan, what a beautiful place. We thank you for that, man. Keep on tuning in, man, as we keep winding down this Sopranos road. Our next comment comes from Spotify, from Anton Checks, who tends to reach out there. I didn't quite catch the episode he responded to, but I'm imagining it's Johnny Cakes. He says the point of AJ is that he is a disappointment to his alpha male father. This is his male heir. This is not a comedic cartoon character. It's a tragedy, plain and simple.
Yeah, they do a great job at it.
Yeah, I get it, but it don't add to the show, and I don't feel anything for Tony because this is his heir. Like even as a father, father, I don't feel like it's such a heavy burden for him to carry. Like they only do that one time, and that's like later in this season. But at that point, it's like I could have did something much earlier with AJ to be like, okay, now I get I get how important the male heir is, but it never served. Like
I don't think either one of us three lacked the understanding of like the point of AJ. Like we didn't say that, we didn't mean it literally. It just don't add shit to the story.
Yeah,
I could care less if he has a male heir like AJ. Like it's just a frustrating part of the story. It's more so what we meant.
Yeah, it's just wasted screen time. Really, like he don't really have funny moments. You know, he don't have anything that's really classic, honestly, other than no ZD.
When AJ get on the screen, he Paulie and I'm Bobby. I'm leaving, nigga. I got something to go. I got something to do. We fast forward through your shit, AJ.
Yeah, for real. Like that's why I'm damn near was like, bro, I'm just gonna start going past the scene like it ain't even happened. Like, did AJ even exist? Our last one. It's a very interesting one. Shout out to you, Rick. You'll see why. So we got a DM on Instagram from a more seasoned lady. She happened to be white. Yes, we acknowledge race here. Y'all know that, but her name is Glenetta. I'm just gonna say your first name. I don't know if you want all your info out there, but her name's Glenetta. She says,
a white lady named Glenetta?
Yeah, Glenetta.
Okay.
Yes. So she says, hello, good earner pod. I have listened to you since the beginning. And since we're getting close to the end, I had one question I've always wanted to ask. I love when Rich talks about being from Cincinnati. And I agree. Westchester is not Cincinnati.
Facts.
I want to ask Rich a very Cincinnati question. What high school did you go to? So I'll stop there so you can.
That is a very Cincinnati question. You got to be from Cincinnati to understand that question. I went to Colerain. I went to Colerain High School. Grew up in College Hill. So I did the classic live in College Hill and you go to your grandparents' house and use their address to go to school.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure, man. Glenetta got to write back and let me know what school did she go to? The whole nine, man. And that's a Cincinnati connect right there. It sounds like she's from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Or adjacent area.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more. I just wanted to kind of let it breathe.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now she says, what high school did you go to? And if you think it applies, who was your English teacher?
She know you.
In what grade? I'm about to say, she know me? How do I spell the name?
GL. You want her whole name? You just want the name?
No. Just spell spell the first name.
GLENETTA.
I'm only saying that I know a Lanetta, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the same. But she, who was my English teacher?
Is Lanetta white?
Maybe she knew your English
Lanetta's
teacher.
black. Yeah, but wait, what grade? I don't know, man. Come back with more details and I'll make sure I answer.
Okay. Yeah,
she teach high school, you said?
No, but here's what she goes with it. So she says, and she put in parentheses, I'm a Cincinnati public school teacher for 30 plus years. I think I heard Rich say on Culture Garden, come on, dog.
Oh snap!
Man, I like, see, you just never know. She said, I think I heard Rich say on Culture Garden that he went to Walnut Hills. But maybe
Nah, my sister went to Walnut. My sister and my dad went to Walnut. Me and my mom went to Coleraine. School
okay.
went to Coleraine too. So yeah, yeah. That's interesting though, man. Shout out to Glenn listening to multiple
real
pods.
listener with the details. Like that's your type of listener. Like you're that detailed and she's detailed.
Nah, that's real. I just made a post on Another Week in the Books page about you never know who watching or listening.
Bro, that's the beauty and the scariness.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
So she says, sometimes I wish I could teach a high school class on The Sopranos so I could play your podcast to my students and say, this, exclamation mark, this is how I want you to examine literature. This is how I want you to discuss the nuances of dialogue, character, author's choices, etc. This is how to take a piece that may not initially seem to have immediate relevance to your life and make meaning of it.
Yo,
that's fire.
Dog.
Hey, listen.
You talk about a glory tear ready to come down. I was like, wow. No, seriously, because
I'm laughing because that's real.
I don't want to jump in. I'll let y'all respond at one at a time because I don't want to get too hype here.
I'll keep it short and simple. That was an incredible compliment. One of the highest compliments I've gotten, not even about podcasts, just in life, to say that you're part of something that you feel should be studied. All off of, I'll obviously shout out to Sopranos because we're only as good as the art that we're discussing. But man, that just makes those long nights, man. Y'all know how it is. It's long form. We in the middle of the week now. These are sometimes can be 3-hour episodes. By the time it's all said and done, there's gonna be 86 total, plus the back of the bings, plus whatever else we do. I say all that to say it can be a lot sometimes to fit it into your normal schedule. But those are the exact things that keep you pushing and let you know it's being heard and it's being impacted. We're gonna do it anyway, even if one person listens. But that's an incredible compliment. I don't even know what to say to that except for thank you.
Yeah, that is an amazing compliment, man. Thank you a lot. Was Miss Lynetta? Glunetta. Yeah, thank you a lot for that. I remember taking literature classes and them asking what you thought about the book and shit like that, and I never really understood it. And now that she breaks that, well, I mean, of course, I understand it now at this age. I didn't back at that age, but her saying that is a really, really high compliment because I know what she probably means as a teacher and like what they're expecting from you when you pick up any of those books you study. Like I know we did To Kill a Mockingbird, Angela's Ashes, Edgar Allan Poe's books, shit like that. And they really want you to dive in. And as a kid, you're like, man, what are you talking about? But we try to do that with this show and we make it enjoyable and from a perspective that we've all experienced. So I think that's fire. That's really dope, man. Thank you.
And I just to cap off, I kind of went to the page. I wanted to get a feel for, most times we get stuff you can't, people pages are private. And so you can't get a feel for it. So when I went on there, I just kind of got an idea and seen, I'm like, okay. So I said, so she's an older woman. She obviously said she's been teaching 30 years plus. Like the thing about that to me is like the art that we're pulling from, which is the Sopranos, and then creating our own art from that art and it being recognized in this form. Bro, I couldn't have never imagined that when I reached out to a stranger and said, let's start this. Like,
nah, not at all.
To two strangers. You know what I mean? And it's like to be able to talk about this and her being an early listener to weave through our ignorance and jokes and bits that we set up within the nuance of the show and things that we're picking up to recognize that it's still something so good or so intentional that it would be worth teaching a class on. Look at how they speak to this scene. Look at what they pulled from this. That's amazing. I'm sorry, like that. That's the highest compliment I've gotten. I've gotten some really good things from Roll, but this just changed my whole outlook on finishing this out strong. Like
Nah, that's
now I
real.
just want to make sure, like, hey, I don't care how tired I am. Hey, go hard, finish right. You know what I'm saying? Because you got people like Miss Glenetta that is listening and is being a listener quietly and decided to, step out there and say that. So thank you so much, Miss Glenetta, not only for listening to us and hitting us up with this wonderful feedback, but also playing a heavy part in society by being a teacher. I was an assistant teacher, and I know how difficult it is, just in my little small stint. So thank you for your contribution. Seriously.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Miss Glenetta. Real talk. And
Yeah.
man, what else? It just pays to be yourself, man.
Yeah.
Because we don't try to cater to anything other than how we truly feel and who we truly are. Because we know we have a mixed bag of people.
Yeah.
We could definitely tone some things down, but why? We got to be ourselves, and that's the only way I think you can do this. And for people to appreciate us from different backgrounds and walks of life, and can find the purpose in everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And just find some joy in what we're doing and learning, and finding the learning about it, who we are. I think that's dope, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yes. So I thank y'all brothers. I mean, we'll have all that once we get to the end of the series. We'll get all into the flowers of it all. But thank y'all brothers too, man. Quite the commitment we've made to do this constantly, and it has been taxing at moments, and it is getting taxing at moments. So, but I'm thankful for y'all, and I'm proud of y'all, proud of myself, proud of us to continually keep doing this and just do this for our fans, man, for real. So, and do it because we are fans. So.
Yeah, man, that's real. We got 15 after this, I think. So we trimming down, man. It's about to be single digits before we know it.
Oh, man. All right. Well, with that being said, Spike Lou, what episode are we reviewing today, brother? You on mute or something? I can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hear me now? All right. Mo Rich, we are on season 6, of course, episode 9, entitled The Ride. The irony in this title. All right, Chris makes a huge announcement at the beginning of the show. Paulie, he gets shook down by the church at the annual feast, is in shambles. Chris and Tony take a road trip and do some old school things. Chris falls off the wagon officially. We see it on screen. And Bobby and Paulie beef over a fair ride. This is season 6. This is episode 9 of Good Earners and The Sopranos, entitled Good Ride.
Question. Mo, what are the odds that when you post this episode on Monday, you're gonna use The Ride from Drake as the music in the background? What are the odds? Is it like minus 10,000? Is it like a certainty?
You must be psychic or something. I don't know how you came to that conclusion.
Hey man, that's what
that's
what happens when you genuinely get to know people over time. You just understand what's about to happen.
Actually, I've been paying attention. Dre, let me ride.
I've been paying attention to your music choices lately. I'm like, all right, then I know what's coming next.
Yeah, I try to go left field. I really do, because I know,
Well, and I remember doing it back in the Bing, and this was one of the episodes that you were looking forward to talking about.
Yes.
I know you've been looking at least a certain, maybe not the whole episode, but at least a certain scene in this episode. I know you've been waiting on.
Absolutely. Okay, so jumping in, Chris is watching Saul, and he's just like it's got this ominous look, because it's like you see him watching it, and it's like it looks like it's from a cage or like a fence or some kind of thing. It's an interesting choice in how they shot that. I'm not sure the cinematography for what that represents, but I'm pretty sure it's got some kind of meaning. But pretty much Christopher's watching it, and they're getting ready to go. They're going to the movies. And
y'all go to the movies? Shout out to Putin Bodie.
Oh man. And pretty much Kelly reveals the news that they're pregnant, and
man, I feel bad for Kelly, man. Because I don't know what's been going on in her life or her dating history, but for her immediate thing to say, it's my fault. I shouldn't have let you take off the rubber. Like nigga, I'm like, damn, Kelly, man. She looked like she was scared for her life.
She must know Christopher. She know Christopher.
She was
She
such a
might.
sweetheart too. Like she has that sweetheart look too. It's like,
She does.
oh, you just feel like you don't want nothing to happen to Kelly. We don't care about Kelly like that because we ain't get that much time with her. But you look at it, you're like, oh, I don't want nothing to happen to her. Like, damn, you deserve
This
better.
the first time we've seen her, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
This is the first time we've seen this place. Like Chris' new place.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. So this is where okay, right? Because
he ain't at A's apartment no more. Yeah, we ain't never seen this place. That's the one thing that stuck out when on this rewatch. I was like, damn, it's our first time seeing Chris at home since the whole Adriana thing.
I just Chris is into it. You know, he's happy. He's like, man, what do y'all think is going through Chris's head when he hugs her? He's like, my ex couldn't have, children, and and then of course he just spews the lie out again for no reason.
No, there was a reason for it. Like what's going
reason?
through his head? What's going through his head right there is he wishes this was Adriana.
Okay.
He wishes that she hadn't fucked up. He wished that he was still with her. He wished that was her having a baby by him.
Yeah.
And that's why you get the impulse action of him going like, "Oh, let's get married."
Okay.
So
I think another part of that, and it might not be picked up until later in the episode. So this is maybe me talking, knowing what happens this episode, but Chris gets a second chance of life in his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's moments, and we'll talk about it when we get to the scene with Corky in the car. He talks about that story about his mom not cleaning up. Like, my kid's gonna have a nice house. It's almost like he gets to redo life and everything that he missed out on.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is a piece of my legacy, and maybe it's a good part. Maybe it's better than who I am, and that has a lot to do with where Chris ends up and his state of mind throughout the episode. So I think a little bit of that, but more so what Spike said, based on where we are at the beginning of the episode.
As viewers of this show, how did y'all feel about them throwing this on us like this?
The pregnancy and married thing?
Just a brand new, like Chris is a main character. And Adriana was such a big character as well. I had to stop and look it up. I was like, damn, is this the first time that we ever see her?
Yeah, this is the first time we see her. Yep.
Yeah, I looked it up. That's how I knew from that. But
I think it goes with the rest of 6 and go ahead, my bad, go ahead.
I was just wondering what y'all thought about it.
I think it falls in line with 6A.
Yep.
Like listen, 6A is, I'm not gonna say it's trash because it's not trash, but in comparison, when if all right, and strictly not don't compare it to television, compare it to other Sopranos. When you compare it to other Sopranos, man, it's making a stallion cheeks. Like, it's not good. It's disjointed. Right. It's not connected. You have things like this. Like, where did you come from? And hold on, obviously Tony knew about it because when he got to the bang, he said her name, but he was also telling that he was questioning, like, her. Like, was it somebody else? Like, I never took y'all as being serious. So maybe that's what it's supposed to be doing too. Maybe it's showing us as Chris is crashing out and he marrying women that he might have only known for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think something like that. I think she might have been one of the ones in the rotation, and he just happened to get her pregnant. He's like, you know what? Let's get married, because me and A was supposed to get married, and I put that off. I wanted to have kids, and she couldn't have kids. So everything's the opposite right now, right? Second chance of life, like Rick's saying. Oh, she can have kids. Oh, let's get married. Matter of fact, let's just roll out. You know what I mean? And just go get it done. So, yeah, it didn't bother me as much because, well, when I first watched it around, it didn't bother me more so than it was just like light skin Aunt Viv. It was just kind of like, we'll take you. We don't really care as much, but we'll take you. It's just kind of like, yeah. So
go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. It's like more like light skin Aunt Viv.
It hasn't bothered me as much as it did watching it this time around, and we do like a review on it. Like, of course, we were just watching it. You watched it a couple of times. You're like, oh yeah, Kelly, because you remember the end stuff. Mm-hmm. But it made me think as we talk about every scene. It's like, damn, we don't even know this chick, and she pregnant by Chris. Like, what's like? I don't know. It felt kind of gypped. And then it goes to Rich's point of season 6. Season 6 is this season right here is by far the worst season. Like, I wouldn't even.
Season 1's better.
And when we talking about Sopranos world too, like, it's still good TV. Like, as fans of it, I can still get stuff from this, and it's still good. But it's really not. It's not nowhere near the level of any other season. Because there's just nothing going on. There's no storyline. There's really nothing. Like, we talked about it previous weeks with the Artie story. We had a fucking Anthony Jr. story. And now we have a Chris and Tony road trip. Like, bro, what are we doing?
Vito, Johnny Cakes.
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
That's true.
So,
for it to be like, this is it. This is this is the last dance. It is kind of like that. It's interesting. So you would say 6A is worse than the first season?
yeah, I would.
Okay. And again,
and the reason being because we're still getting familiar with them in the first season. So there's still things that like I can look at that and be like, okay, you find out later. But here we're at the end. Like we talk about with Tony all the time. We're here at the end of things. And like they're just throwing shit on us. Like Chris got a brand new wife and a baby on the way. And just it feels like we missed stuff as fans. And it shouldn't feel like that as many episodes that are in this season.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it is.
It's sort of like, and I'm sorry.
No, you good.
What is brilliant about it though, later in the episode, we'll talk about it more, is I felt like as a fan, how Tony felt when he was like looking for shit in the fridge and how he's talking with Melfi, like he's just bored. Like that's what this first part of this season is. And I feel like that's David Chase doing that on purpose.
Man,
I think so
being
too.
A little meta.
Yep.
I think so. That makes perfect sense because it's almost like
what we doing?
It's almost like y'all have no idea what this second half about to be like. So I'm about to rock y'all to sleep a little bit and then boom.
Facts.
Rock a bye, baby. I wonder what Harpo thinks about this pregnancy. Paulie,
Tony a dickhead.
Yeah. Paulie and Patsy, they go talk to the new father about Elzier? Yeah,
I think it's based off of like a saint.
It's like a Catholicism
it's a real
type thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, they, this is a thing that they've been doing for years, and I guess they switched out to father. This is not like this wasn't Father Phil originally.
No. The whoever the father's supposed to be, he's allegedly having bypass surgery.
Okay.
So this is their way of bringing somebody young in that's actually going to stand up to Paulie.
Well, you got a lot. You got some balls on you, kid. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I said, "Well, you got." But
the church is off limits because you know good and damn well Tony would have put hands on Father Phil over what happened when he stayed the night at not over what happened, but just the fact that he stayed the night when he was going. That was on college, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So men of the church, man, they good.
Yeah, it was a crazy comment Paulie makes here too.
Wow comment.
But
true.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I'm sure there's some deep things here, but it's like they go from like funding it 10,000, like 50,000. And I didn't like that there was no like budging from him. That I just didn't like. I'm like, bro, you're new here and you're immediately just saying we're going up 50,000 and you're trying to finesse me a certain way. And it's like, there ain't even like a middle ground. I'm like, who are you?
No, Paulie didn't negotiate either though. Paulie was stuck on 10. He didn't even offer. He was like, I'll give you 20. He never did that.
Yeah.
He never made a counter offer.
Yeah. So I guess I got to understand the racket of this for them. Like that's the part I couldn't quite understand the full racket of like what you put in versus how much you make. I just never.
So the whole racket is the whole the fair shit that they was doing all week. That's the racket. Like he said, what Bobby said, you're charging the vendors, you're charging the people to get in, you're charging the ride people to have their rides there so they can make some money. So the whole racket is just the fair in itself. And what he's trying to keep costs down by not paying dude $50K. He want to keep it at $10K because he's paying more than he used to pay doing this anyway. So now if I get this, just inflation in general, and then if I got to pay 50 more thousand for this, like I ain't making no money here, like he told Tony later. So that's the record.
Same reason why he kept costs down with hiring the cheap ride versus the good one.
Exactly.
Again, the another
at the end,
there it is. Yep. There it is. That's exactly what I was getting at.
It's over. Hey, what did you say last week? It's over for the little guy.
It's over for the little guy. Like, and it's funny that Patsy's in the scene. It's just they're doing they're doing an excellent job on 6A. Like all of the turmoil, all of how people were acting when Tony was in a coma. Like they're doing an excellent job. Somebody's gay, all of this is like, bro, we are living in different times, and they've done an excellent job. Like that aspect of season 6A going to be like, we definitely feel like, damn, this season feels different. The time of it feels different, as if we're there with them. Like, damn, it don't feel the same. Like the family dinners don't feel the same. The back of the Bing scenes don't feel the same. Even Tony's house with Carmela, it don't feel the same. Like that. That's really amazing how they're able to capture that, because it feels different.
You don't know, just thinking about in real time as you're saying all that.
Yeah.
I think David Chase, to your point earlier, Mo, David Chase did this on purpose, because you know what it makes you feel as a viewer?
What?
So,
and I think it's brilliant when you think about it from his perspective. It makes you ready for the show to be over. You know what I'm saying? It makes you ready to end this. Like, if this is what it's going to be, I want it to be over. And then they give you the last part, and it's all heat, and it wraps up everything, and you're satisfied. There is no, man, I wish we had a season 7, a season 8. You're done. You're finished. Because they set us up with this first part, and for 12 episodes, we sitting there like, hey,
what is
all right, man, wrap this shit up. And then you get such a phenomenal second part that you satisfied on both parts. You ready for it to end, and now that it's ended, it went out the way you wanted it to go.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
That's a good observation.
Yeah, because it's like he's looking at concluding from a bird's eye view. Like, it's like, okay, I'm starting up here and I'm bringing this thing down. I'm not going to wait to 2 episodes and speed it up and wrap everything up like shows that are not this excellent, that we see all the times. Like, bro, they rushed the finale. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could say he's doing it all the way from here, just slowly doing it. And so it does feel like you said, okay, when is this going to be over? I'm ready. But it's really brilliant. Like, when you put it like that, that's genius. Because,
It's incredible. I don't know. David Chase, he's probably the type that'll, if he ever heard this, he'd be like, you're giving me a little bit too much credit. But I think
probably, but yeah.
Everything is so intentional with him.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, but yeah, Paulie, he made a good point about, he said, but y'all seem to have money for those pedo cases. I got money for that.
Shit, wow.
Yeah, and again, we're talking traditions and stuff. Back in the day, this has been around for 100 years and stuff. So, yeah, pretty much it's non-negotiable. They're not really making a fair negotiation, and they just leave it at what it is, I guess.
Yeah,
man, dude wasn't budging. I respect him for that.
Yeah, he had some,
you need me.
He had some balls on him.
Yeah,
you need me. I don't need you.
Yeah, it seemed like he got some counsel from old dude too, by the look on his face when he was leaving out.
Yeah,
like he had been wanting to do this, and the other dude was probably scared.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. We'll go to the next thing, which is hilarious to go from there to here. But the guys are at the Bing, and Chris pulls up as they're having a conversation. About, I think what Paulie's telling them about the meeting that he had with the father, and Chris pulls up and pretty much breaks the news to him that he got married, and that he's having a child. What do y'all think about this thing? Because there's definitely some thoughts I got that, like, just some interesting observations that was like, bro, who does this?
Well, we talked about transitions, I think, last week, and one of the transitions, as we talked about, is over for the little guy. And at the end, Tony's telling Paulie about, the carding, one of these carding companies, they're trying to add some more fees on the tipping. It's just kind of like the whole point of Paulie in this whole fair is, damn, my profit ain't the same as it was. Or he talks about it wasn't the same as when your dad had it. Yeah. Tony's having the same issue at the top. So it's not just middle level, it's also at the top too. Like, everything's slimming down because people want more.
Yep.
Right. So I thought that was a heavy observation. And it was very interesting for Tony's reaction when he found out Chris got married. I think Tony and Chris's relationship is very interesting. I'm sure we'll talk about it throughout this episode, but it's almost like he only approves of Chris when Chris does things his way. And he doesn't really accept Chris for who he is, like, genuinely. And you could tell moments throughout this episode, like, they don't really have a real relationship. They do, but it's built off of Tony's standards.
Yep.
Chris always little bro. Like, Chris could never express himself and truly be himself around Tony. And it's just an awkward situation and this whole thing. And even when he gives him credit, he kind of looks it off like, man, I don't want credit for this bullshit. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know. It's very interesting. You don't know how to pull out?
See, that speaks to probably why she wasn't like around like that. That you would make that comment on somebody you was active with. Like he would have never said it about Adriana. Unless they was like for real breaking balls.
Seal said that though, right?
Yeah, Seal said that.
Seal said, yeah.
Oh, Seal said, okay, never mind.
Yeah, Seal said that.
What was you gonna say, Spike? Sorry.
The look on Tony's face is interesting to go to Rich's point. Like it's just this weird thing that lingers throughout the episode, like a fart. Like just like he got this weird thing around Chris. Yeah, it's just I don't know, and they never really explain it until later in the season. But yeah, I agree with what Rich said there. As far as just like this is, he keep making these funny faces or whatever, and again, Tony's reaction to him asking Kelly, I thought that was kind of how we felt as viewers, putting it on the screen for it. But all in all, really nothing burger to me.
You know, I bet you know what it is. Tony knows. No matter Chris, you're just we're gonna go down. I think he might be looking at like we're about to go down this cycle all over again. We're about to go down this cycle. She might turn fed all over again. You might get back on drugs all over again. Like he know you, like you look like you're doing better. You're trying to do a movie, but you tried to do acting in the earlier seasons. I think Tony's looking at it because he's not buying it. Us as viewers were buying it because we root for these characters, you know, to turn, you know, to break bad. So
that's a good point.
And I think now that you say that, I think that's what it is with Tony. It's that person that like everybody in the family's rooting for the person that's been struggling for years and they finally look like they got it together. And it's that one person in the family.
She still stole my jewelry.
Yeah, they still look like.
I remember that TV.
It's like, all right, we'll see in 3 months. We'll see in 4 months. We'll see in 4 months. Like, you know what I mean? It's that skeptic.
Yeah.
So, but the thing that I thought was interesting outside of that is just like, I've never seen a man in my life flash his sterling silver ring. Like, this is crazy work.
Maybe that's platinum.
I don't care what it is. I've never seen a nigga come in, flash his hand and say, hey, look, look. What nigga does this?
It is something that we've been conditioned. We see women do that all the time.
I would never.
It is funny.
There's not. What's a masculine? I told you it's good to be surrounded by men.
Oh no, bro. I think you.
All right.
Oh no.
All right. Give it to me, Spike. Let's say both you brothers.
I'd do that if I was married.
How do you do it? Give me the gesture in which you show your ring. Like
what ring?
Right, I ain't got no ring.
I'm shout out to Carmelo. Hey, shout out to Carmelo. Hey, hold on. Shout out to Carmelo, man. Allegedly, he said. Allegedly, back in his heyday, he said, "Lala married, not me." What ring, nigga? My wife married. I ain't. Shit.
That's a legend. Damn. I ain't seen nothing wrong with that, bro. I ain't seen nothing wrong with it. Like I guess you proud of your wife. You know these people that you comfortable with. It ain't you ain't walking a room full of strangers. Oh, look, I'm married. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna look at my hand. Like you got this. Men get basic bands.
So how would you have told them then?
I just told them like, hey, bro, yeah, big dog had to go. You know what I mean? Had to lock in. Got the ring. You know, I'm married. You know.
And then when they say no way,
and then I'd be like, yeah, bro, locked in, bro.
You gonna point at the ring?
I don't know what kind of hand gesture I do. I'd probably like, yeah, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You wipe your face. Like yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know, hey, it's real. It's real. You know, you see what's going on. You feel me?
Oh, that's
hey, but there's no way I'm coming in.
He gonna do the Sloan. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
So, but nah, I just thought that was wild. Like to, you know, but I mean, I get it. It's not that wild, happy, but it's wild to me. I've never seen a man do that in my life. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
I think I had something else. It does seem like Chris is starting to find his arc. So I thought that was interesting. From the days when he was like, do you ever feel like nothing good will happen? You know, remember when he said that to Paulie. So this is kind of a moment that is trying to turn that corner a little bit, it seems like.
I think if Chris's arc fell in his lap and he's accepting it as his arc. He didn't try to do this. He wasn't intentional about this. He's just gonna roll with it. Just like everything else is Chris's life, man. It just kind of happens and you go. He ain't really never been a go-getter.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
Even your family was on by mistake. You know what I mean? You slipped, you fell into that.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're not giving Chris enough credit. They said he took the condom off. Maybe he did that on purpose the whole time. Who knows? Once again, they didn't give us a lot. Kelly just showed up and she popped up pregnant.
Yeah, I guess so. We get this small scene where Tony and Chris make a deal, and then I did y'all get that part before we get to like the Grand Theft Auto part of this scene or whatever?
What you mean?
The dude, there was like a real short scene with this dude. I don't know what kind of deal.
Remember when Chris came in to the Bing?
Tony
was saying like, I need you to come to Pennsylvania with me, and that's when Paulie was like, "Hey, I don't ask me because I'm on feast duty and stuff like that." He pointed directly at Chris and said, "I need backup because it's a deal with the carton business, and that's why whatever kind of business it was."
I think it was he was just talking about like tipping the trucks, so they were trying to find another place to tip the trucks versus New Jersey. So that was them going to secure that deal for what he was talking to Paulie about.
Okay. But we get to the later that night. Tony and
map.
Yeah, it's crazy. But no, dude asked him. What he said? What do you say? Map something?
Map blast.
Map blasted.
That's probably just a fictional way of MapQuest.
MapQuest, yeah.
For all the kids out there, man, if y'all out there listening, niggas really had to go to the internet and print off directions.
Yeah. It was
print them off, going and coming to make sure we knew what he was doing. And like there was no alerts. So you had to make sure if you was on the highway for a minute, you had to remember. Don't get caught up in your CD player. Yes, I said CD player.
Yeah.
You got to remember, man, at about 200 miles, you better get off at exit 6.
Yeah, boy. That was crazy. Like, and then driving and then putting the paper behind the paper to go to the next, turn left at the light on 42nd.
Yeah, what a time.
What a
Chris, are we 0.7 miles past? Like, bruh, shout out to the technology.
Yeah, man. I mean, we complain about it, but boy, it's made life easier in some regard. But yeah, so they're doing all of this, and they see that there's some wine over there, so they decide to just steal the wine just to do it, really. Like, I mean, why not?
That's what we do.
And so they do that and find out the guys who have the wine are already stealing. I do like how quick Chris was to get the strap. Like, hey, hold up. Like, we ain't doing no talking, nothing. I ain't about to chance it. Y'all niggas get down. Or lay down for real. And of course we get the Vipers and all that, and then they get in the car and Chris take it back to the hood, shooting out the window like that. Man, I was surprised them niggas got back to it too. Like, them niggas got up so quick and started shooting. I was like,
They with the Vipers.
They with the Vipers, nigga. You fuck around out here.
I thought they were with the Vipers.
Hey, them niggas was still in the ATM.
Yes.
Yeah.
On some barbershop shit.
That's every time I see this scene, I think about that. But yeah, they steal it, they get it off, and they're laughing about it.
Said, what's that, your Girl Scout troop? Nigga said that shit like it's supposed to mean something.
Yeah, right. Like, cause they're the mob, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like that, even though it's not nowhere near what it used to be. And at that, it's Jersey. So it's like, but they go to get some, they go to this, this place for a beautiful dinner. And
hold on, time out. Before that, can I make a gripe about this scene, the robbery scene?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a gripe about this? All right, so here's what pisses me off every time I watch this scene. A couple things. One, Tony has that last case. Chris, if you got the gun and you making sure niggas get low, keep that gun pointed on them. Wait until Tony loads up that case and gets in the whip before you shoot out that tire. Second, my biggest gripe of the scene. You still got the drop on them before they pull a gun out on you. I can see if y'all was trying not to shoot them, but as you're driving away from a distance, you go out the window and you shoot that man from a distance. If you're gonna shoot him there, you might as well shoot him where he's standing, so they have no chance of even busting at you.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, true. Great point.
So that whole thing, just the thought of it, like, bro, I could see if you weren't trying to shoot him, but you ended up shooting him anyway. Might as well shoot him there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give him one to the knee, give him one to the shoulder. That way he can't pull off and you gone. We gone.
Facts.
Either way, you can go into the dinner scene. That just bothered me every single time.
I didn't even think about that. I forgot he got hit.
Yeah, he ended up like I was looking. I couldn't remember either. I'm like, if he hits this dude, I'm about to get pissed off. He ended up hitting him. I'm like, bro, you could have been shot him.
Right? Yeah.
Tony got a fucked up ankle. I mean, shoot. Like Smokey said, shoot him.
Shoot him.
But yeah, they end up going to a beautiful dinner and they laugh about it and everything. And you know, we get some of the classic Tony face meme that I always see. That's just one of the funniest faces on the show ever.
Hilarious.
But yeah, you know, Chris said something, and I was such a before the turn, the fall of Chris. Like, I was such a fan of where he was going from starting saying we want to do a movie Cleaver to all these things. I mean, of course, we know what Cleaver means and all that once we get to that point, but like just the growth that Chris in the strides he was taking, I was very looking forward to it. Like, I like where he was going because this moment telling Tony, like, hey, you know, when they were shooting at us, I was scared for my life. I was like, that's a huge step, especially for a mafia guy, because now he got something to lose. You know what I mean? Of course, stuff is starting to, you know, Chris going through that phase that we all go through at some point when you start to be less ignorant as you get older and realize, like, okay, you can't just move any kind of way. You know, even though they just did something crazy, but this is pretty normal for these guys. You know, so, but yeah. Chris says, you know, I miss it sometimes, and decides to take some drink of that wine.
Hold on. Well, he does decide. We got to talk about Tony's influence here.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to that, man. Some bullshit. Walking in with 2 bottles. What's your corkage fee?
Hey,
I've never done that. I've never done that.
Man.
I never brought my own bottle of wine into a restaurant.
I didn't know that was
you know
a
what
thing.
I mean?
That's a real
yeah. You can bring your own. They just charge you for drinking.
That's the corkage fee.
Yeah.
But some people charge corking sometimes, and if like let's say you buy a whole bottle and you don't finish it, they're gonna charge you to put the cork back on, and you can take it with you and all that stuff. Or you can pay them to actually bring your own bottle in and all that.
That's fly.
Yeah, it is fly shit. Yeah. One thing before you get to the Tony's face and how he influencing the drinking, man, it's crazy how happy this made them.
Yeah.
These niggas was like kids at a candy store. Like, just even when he opened the truck to look at it, when they got to the restaurant, he was just so excited. Like, they had never seen wine before. Like, this is what we do it for. I think that David Chase did a really good job, or whoever directed this, at just showing the elation that they get out of just doing gangster shit.
Yeah.
Like mob shit. Like, not the everyday shit of picking up envelopes and doing all the other mundane stuff, but this is what they live for.
Yeah,
because we can talk about number $500 that they make off this shit.
Yeah, I say it all the time, man. I've used this quote a million because it applies to a bunch of things. The movie Heat, for me, the action is the juice. This is what I do this for. I don't care about the bottom line. I need the rush. Like, we criminals. That's what we do. We do criminal activity. Nigga, and you know, it reminds me, and I wasn't even on the show yet. It reminds me of the pilot episode, and I never forget. I don't know if it was Mo or it was Spike when y'all pointed out. Yeah, when he ran up on dude in that car, and somebody pointed out, like, look at the smile on Tony's face. Like, he enjoys doing this shit. Like, you can tell he's been so removed from it. And now that I'm back in the action, like, I love this shit. I miss this shit.
That's what I do.
Nigga, on some real Mitch shit. Like, nigga, I love the game. I love the hustle.
Yeah. And you got to think, once you get to this level of the mob, it is like a regular job now.
Yeah.
Like, literally like a regular job. Sure, you don't work the same amount of hours, but it's a regular job. Rather, you got no show jobs or, you know, no work job or whatever, you know, like you still got a job to do. You got to lean on people. You got to threaten people, but you don't really get like the low level making your bones type of activities, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
street shit in general. Like, people don't really realize it. Like, you see the movies and shit and glamorize it. But some rapper just said it. I can't remember who I was listening to. They just said that, like, niggas don't realize how boring, like, being like, not an everyday I'm selling drugs, nigga, but like a kingpin.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do a lot of shit, bro. Drop off, pick up, stuff like that. So
it's funny to be mad paranoid while doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Man, just while doing nothing. Exactly.
That is a crazy
super
life.
Anxious about doing nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just a very interesting. There's these moments. The Chris and Tony stuff is some of the most brilliant stuff. This is one of the most brilliant payoffs too. You know, and of course later on too. But yeah, so Chris finally drinks the wine. I thought you were gonna say something about how Tony.
Yeah, because all right, so this man is in recovery, and we've already talked about it because of the scene with him, Tony B and Chris. They kind of busting his balls about it. Have a drink. You need a drink or something like that. The fact that Tony's just so casually, well, you should at least toast your wedding or something. And Chris, remember what Chris responded with, man? Like, it's just the discipline. Spiking myself, we talk about another week in the books, like just that discipline that you need to actually do what you need to do. Like lock in and be the person you say you are. Be the person you say you want to be. To your point, Mo, you liked where Chris was going. It looked like he was finally figuring things out. Him responding with the discipline was great, but Tony kept egging it on. He could have been a real friend, which once again goes back to what I was saying earlier about them not having a real relationship. Like, even the three of us, and we've never even met in person yet. Like, if I knew one of y'all had a problem with alcohol, I'm not gonna sit there, man. Well, maybe this one time you can. Nah, bro. Like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure you good. So the fact that Tony's even egging him on is almost like I want to keep this control over you. And on the other side, they say wine is fruit. Wine is a food. You know what I mean? It's just let it go, and then you watching them do it and knowing that this. One thing I've learned about
judge them for it.
Yeah, one thing I learned about substance abuse, having knowing someone who goes through it, the stuff that we find normal, like I can smoke a joint and be cool. Like, it's not gonna make me want to do anything else. Mm-hmm. You feel me? I'm good. I'm where I need to be. People with substance abuse problems, man, they can't just do that. They can't just start with something because then they're gonna chase this further high. Mm-hmm. But Tony doesn't care because Tony's never invested that kind of time into Christopher to really know what he's going through as a recovering addict. And it's just crazy to me how it's sad to watch. It's disappointing to watch. Like, it makes you look at Tony a certain way. Like, bruh, it's kind of like Janice at the dinner table. Like, I wonder what Harpo thinks. I wonder what Harpo's having this Sunday dinner. Like, you just fucking with people to fuck with him.
Mm-hmm. You think that's what he's doing right here?
Yeah, because you mad because your life is a pair of socks right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And like I said, they got a weird control dynamic.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Or Tony has a weird control dynamic on Chris.
This is relatable. I will say. I'll get into it a little later. But it's definitely relatable. Where like when you become the big homie, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big homie now. They still trying to little bro me. I'm the big homie now. Like, and it's like dudes try to still hold you kind of right there. It's like they have say so on, because they speak their opinion. They got say so on what's your next moves because it was maybe good for you at some point. But when you like become your own man, it's like, no, I'm the big homie, bro. You my dog, but you ain't my big homie. I got it. Like, you ain't.
To your point, Mo, I forgot my last point on that. I don't want to let Chris off the hook. Chris still has everything in him to say, I'm disciplined. Just because Tony urges you doesn't mean you have to do it. I know it might be a little bit more difficult, but you just got telling me about how, you like to stay disciplined. Well, stay disciplined. Maybe Tony, in a way, we're saying, all right, let's see how serious you are. Because if this little thing can nudge you to drink, then maybe I can't trust you to do whatever. And when you look at Chris's character throughout the rest of the series, a lot of things were revealing to Tony, I think, in this scene.
You remember when Tony, I think it was long-term parking, after they took care of the Adriana thing. You remember Tony slapped the hell, he started beating Chris' ass. Mm-hmm. It's the most random, like, I think we seen the house there. I think that's when we seen the house, because I remember the angle looked similar to what we seen in the opening of this show, because it was in this like kind of dark area. I don't know, maybe it was the Bing, but yeah, Tony started beating his ass, and I think ever since he came out of coma, like, I think it is something where it's like, oh, he's side-eyeing him, looking at crazy, because it's like, okay, we're gonna see if you really are who you say you are. I mean, Chris literally went down to try to sell a movie to Ben Kingsley, and you end up doing coke, you're drinking champagne. So it's like, I think if a lot of times when we get to what we get to later, people don't see a buildup, but there is a buildup if we're starting to look close. And not to mention all of the terrible things that Tony let off the hook of, you getting high all the time, beating on your woman turned fed, the thing that happened with Jackie Jr. coming to the card game, and like all of these different things Chris has done over the years that, I'm telling you, T, I'm telling you, Tone, I'm not telling you, like, Tony's let so much off the hook that I think this is where it's like, this is my final test with you, nigga. And like,
I got to make a quick adjustment to something I just said because I completely forgot about something. I'm glad you mentioned it, Mo. I forgot about Luxury Lounge that Chris had already fell off the wagon, right? Chris is lying to himself.
Yeah.
Trying to convince him that he's somebody that he's not because he has a child on the way and he's getting married. Once again, I said earlier, even the family was kind of something he's tripped and stumbled into. If Chris was intentional about his family, then it would have been easier for him to say, nah, I'm good. The only reason he's doing this is because she is pregnant. And whenever you do something, it's a cause and effect thing versus something I want to do, you're always bound to fail. So I take that back a little bit. I know I'm hard on Tony, which Tony's still a dirtbag for even doing that. However, I don't think that it would have mattered. I think Tony, I literally think now that I'm thinking about him trying in Luxury Lounge, Chris in Luxury Lounge, I literally think Tony could have just sat there drinking the wine and talking about how good it was without ever implicating that Chris should try it. And Chris would have went ahead and grabbed the bottle himself. Like, you know what? Let me see.
Yep. Yeah.
Because remember that time he had that random Heineken? He said, I can't have a cocktail every now and again.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely.
Damn, Chris.
Yeah, it's Chris wants to be Tony, but he wants to do it the dirty way, kind of. Like I just happened to come in this chick. She happened to be pregnant. I'm going down here to sell a movie, but I'm high. Anyway, we'll talk more on it. I don't want to belabor too much because there's so much that we can get into it as far as that goes. But yeah, they're outside, and this is just a beautiful moment. We get the scene that was preserved from long-term parking that was set aside. Now they brought it here, which was I think it hit better here. And we see what happened when Chris came. He comes down. And he tells him like, "Hey, this how much she got? I don't know." And pretty much Tony, all of it comes together, and Chris realizes like, "Oh, she got to be whacked," and he's like, "I can't do it. Which is I get it. It's crazy, even though you beat her up so many times, but whatever.
I think this is an interesting scene in the sense of like Tony is being just as inauthentic as Chris is. I
inauthentic?
I think so. We're looking at him because when has Chris been there for him? And he says that in this scene. He's like, well, you've been here for me too. He didn't go into examples or give him anything like that. And then you two, I can't remember who just said it, but it made me think about it. Like he really has saved Chris' life on several occasions and looked over a lot of shit that people should be dead for.
Oh, remember Chris was trying to kill him at the Bada Bing. I forgot to mention that on the list. He was drunk. Yeah.
So now that we're talking this out, like those faces that Tony makes make sense now because we always talk about how Tony reads people. Like he's reading Chris from this whole ordeal to like, it even went back to him reading the map wrong. Like the only reason that he's seen the biker dudes because he was looking back in disgust at Chris, like, how the fuck you got us out here lost? You just told the dude that you knew how to get us back. And it's like building on a series of lies that Chris is telling throughout this road trip. And Tony's just looking at him like, you ain't like, so now they just bullshitting each other sitting right here talking like you're right. On the surface, it's a beautiful moment. But I think also it's like that crashing feeling with Tony, like this dude is a fuck up, man. He can't even keep it real with me. We right here. This is like probably one of the most intimate moments that we've had in years, and who knows how long. You know what I'm saying? We do the little fun shit where we jack the bikers, and we're sitting here now, and it's like, I just dude can't, like, like you can be having a conversation with somebody, you be like, this motherfucker full of shit, man. And like if it's your homeboy somewhere,
he'll check out,
and you like, man, come on, bro. Like, what are we talking about? You start checking your phone or whatever it may be. I think that's what we seen with this. And I never really thought about it. We just was talking it out.
That map point, I did not.
Incredible point.
That's incredible. And then, like, going back to the Bada Bing, when he was like, oh, yes, I'm going to raise my kid just like UT. And, whatever he was saying, something just blowing smoke up his, So, man, now I'm watching it with a whole nother lens now. Like, I think we're getting somewhere. We're on the brink of something.
Yeah.
Inauthentic. I never looked at this scene like that. Now you say that the whole tone has changed. No pun intended. But yeah, so we finally get that Go ahead. I wasn't gonna leave.
No, I'm my bad. I was just gonna agree with you, Mo, when you said that it does hit harder. This scene from Long Term Parking, the fact that they cut it out and put it here, definitely hits harder.
Facts.
Yeah, her getting whacked, or like how they did the fake off, like she got away and then she didn't. It wouldn't have hit if this scene was in there.
Absolutely, that's the whole reason. That's the whole reason they took it out.
Yeah,
they wanted to leave the suspense about what happened to Adriana. This scene, like you said, Mo, dead giveaway.
Mm-hmm. You say, "Oh, I'll take care of it." Then as soon as you seen her with Seal, oh, she dying.
Yeah, she out of here. She gone.
Yep. Your favorite restaurant, because that's where you dine at.
All right, Mikey, what's keep going?
So, yeah, I thought they were yearning for something together, but whatever.
To be honest with you, Mo, I'm ashamed and embarrassed.
I'm ashamed and embarrassed. All right, so let me try to move us through a little bit. We get the next morning. It looks like Tony's making coffee. Is he looking like this because of the boredom thing is setting in? Is that what this is all about? Like that exciting night and then coming to the morning, it's back to mundane. It's like the highs dying off, starting to die already.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Because you remember a time when what you did last night, we used to do on the regular. That was a Thursday through Sunday thing. That might have been a Monday through Friday thing. Now, how did I even get here? We all know how it is when you get older, man. How did time even fly like this? Like I feel like yesterday was when I was doing X, Y, and Z, and now I'm sitting here watching the espresso machine. Like that's the joy of my life.
Oh shit!
Damn, that is something. Goodness gracious! This episode, I don't know. This episode, the rating might change in my mind with the Discord we're getting out of this. All right, yeah, but and then Chris and Kelly, they go and purchase a home on the spot. You know, that's pretty much it. He says, "What?"
I love this scene just for the simple fact it's very subtle. Another driving force home about Chris and who he is. Impulse buyer, impulse everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not taking any thought about anything that he's doing right now at this phase of life. He's just doing it because it sounds good. And she dressed like a video extra in No Better Love. The boots, the jacket,
my
with the
wife.
fur. Them might have been baby fat jeans. She
might have been.
I might have seen the cat on the left cheek.
Man, he don't know what he's doing, bro. But yeah, that's a great point. Impulse, you know, he's trying to be like Tony. Everything is about trying to be like his Uncle Tony. That's my Uncle Tony, the one I'm going to hell for. Like he's trying to be like him, but he going about it the complete wrong way. Like Chris is one of those people that like I've worked with people at jobs, supervisors, and you could tell like they really a dirtbag. They don't know as much as people think they know, and you looking at them like it's a matter of time before they're gonna let him go. He don't know yet, but I can see like because they're making all this money and everything, but you could tell like they're gonna let you go because you don't know what you're doing. You're coming in late. You're halfway, you know, under the influence. Like I work with a dude like that. I knew, and eventually that did happen. So it's like Chris is like on borrowed time. Like he's on borrowed time with how he's moving. You're burning all through your cash. You're gonna burn through drugs. Like the way you're moving is just, it's ridiculous. So
live fast, die young.
Yeah.
That's how he's living.
For sure. It's amazing we're doing this episode as we get to the next scene.
Easy on the sugar, hun. They tell me I'm sweet enough.
Sweet enough.
What size is the waist? Let's go in. So we go to the carnival. Shout out,
hey man! Shout out to Jeremy Piven.
That's
man.
What I say. Yep.
I just peep where you got that from. That's Rush Hour 2. That's 2, ain't it?
Yeah, that's him. That is him. Like, bro, he did.
Yeah, that's definitely Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, boy, he's talented. So we get to the guys.
Hold on, Sweetness.
Hold on, Sweetness. Hey. He was all in too.
Buttercup.
Hey
man, Rush Hour 2, man. That shit's silly.
It is, man. But so yeah, the guys at the carnival, you know, it's a beautiful night. And it's funny we're reviewing this episode. There was the earlier scene where Tony was reflecting on like the autumn weather and stuff like that, and you know, Chris says like Halloween or whatever. It's like funny that we're in like that season as we're reviewing this, so it's just lined up perfectly. That was just something I wanted to bring up. But in this scene, Tony wants to meet with Phil. I don't know what is he eating, but definitely getting his eating.
Zapolis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Shout out to Chris Marone. He might Chris Falone. He might be. I said Marone. Chris Falone. He might help us out with the pronunciation, but it's just fried dough.
Oh, fried dough. Okay.
Like a funnel cake.
Yeah, like a funnel cake. I'd imagine. Yeah.
Okay.
Donut, funnel cake, that type of deal. Fried dough. Was sprinkled with some sugar, powdered sugar on it. Y'all peeped that because I never peeped this until this rewatch because he doesn't have any lines. Did y'all peep the bodyguard he beat up is in the scene?
In the background.
Yeah. I never know. Oh, I see him, Perry.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I never peeped that, I mean ever. I watched Sopranos I don't know how many times. I never see him in the background.
Yeah, I thought they just phased him on out.
That's what I thought too.
They got Phil eating the Vito dog. And my man's what is Tony eating right there?
Nah, Tony is eating the Vito dog, and Phil's eating the Zapoli.
And I mean, excuse me, I meant Seal. I meant
Seal too, man. Hey, man, finish chewing your food before you ask me to come with you. You need to talk to me, bro, like I'm some little nigga.
Yeah. Like he was definitely like in mid of it. They had to finish chewing and say it again, like, bruh. Yeah, you know Tony crazy, man.
Hey, I got a week when Phil was like, "Hey, man, what's up with him, man? What's up with your guy? Every time I see this nigga, he hurt." Niggas got shot in the hospital. Now this nigga limping. Like, what y'all got going on with this man?
Yeah, man.
What do he do now?
Yeah, you gotta love Phil, man. Great.
Shout out to Phil.
Said Jesus Christ. Hey, that's funny.
Oh.
Hey, cause that's how it would be, man. Like, damn, bro. Every time I see you, you fucked up.
Yeah, remember that he was at the going to the Johnny
Sack
wedding. He fell out. Remember he fell.
Talk about, man. Speaking of being fucked up, y'all seen Jay Leno?
Man, niggas said he fell down a hill. He owed Tony Soprano some money. That's what happened. You ain't seen him more. This nigga got an eye patch. This nigga got an eye patch on.
Nigga, I know a gambling debt when I see it. I know when you owe the bookie, bro. Because that nigga said he ran that.
Fell down. He fell down 60 flight of stairs.
Hey, I never forget I worked with a nigga. Hey, I never forget I worked with a nigga, man. That nigga came into work, face all scratched up. You could tell it was some, his girl that got it on his ass. And I remember asking, like, what happened to you? He said, oh, my cat got me. And I looked at that nigga like, all right. That's how I did Jay Leno. Jay Leno said he fell down a hill, nigga. Like, how far was the fucking hill? That nigga got his ass beat.
Dang, that's crazy, dude.
I just get weak at that shit. I'm not laughing at him getting his ass weak. I just laugh at the fact that these niggas be lying about it.
I'm laughing at him getting his ass whooped. Jay Leno was his age.
You should have way too much money.
And he said it happened like a Best Western or some shit. Like, what is Jay Leno doing?
A Hilton Inn. Like, what you doing at the Hilton Inn?
Bro, he's a talk show host. He knows how to tell stories, bro.
Yeah. Nah, that nigga fucked that eye patch on. I'm like, golly. Yeah, damn, Jay, you going out bad.
Boy.
That shit hilarious to me, man. Like we all gonna believe that shit. Like nigga, the best lie you had. To your point, Mo, you a talk show host, right?
Yes.
You should have came up with something more creative. And I fell down the hill.
All right, where your team at? Where your writing team? Like,
niggas, how about this? Shut the fuck up. You ain't got to answer no questions.
Right? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Keep that shit moving. Yeah, man. They got me.
Mm-hmm. But they talk about another racket, but Tony needs the racket they're trying to get requires the docks, and obviously Johnny Sack's got the docks on lock, and with Phil be an acting boss, No, that's
they
not
already.
It?
No, that's not it.
Okay,
I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
No, correct me.
They stole a truck.
Okay,
and the truck was full of vitamins, but they can't sell the vitamins in New Jersey because the highway patrol is looking out for the truck. So they have to get the truck from New Jersey to New York, and Phil needs to be able to sell the vitamins in New York. Maybe, I think he said Long Island, or something like that. So Tony need him to come get the truck from Jersey and get it over to New York, and then they'll split it 50-50.
Similar to the Vito Pauly thing. Like, I got the address, you go do the pickup, we'll split the bread.
Okay, I misinterpreted that then. I thought they were trying to move it like out somewhere, but
no, they just stole it.
We just hit a lick. Okay. Yeah, we just hit a lick. We need to move this shit now.
Yeah. And we
can't. That's why y'all for 50-50.
But Phil kind of bends the rules a little bit here, though. Like
he breaks the rules. Ain't no bending to it. He completely breaks them. He's not supposed to do this without letting John know.
That, hey, it basically cut John out of it, and
you can't do that. Like, you can get killed,
which is interesting. And at the end, like even him being from old school,
and Tony could get killed for that.
Yeah,
for even allowing that shit. The first thing Tony should have done was put the word out on the street and let Johnny Sack know. Like, this is who you got working for. But we all know, ever since John cried at that wedding, Phil like, man, fuck this nigga. This nigga I'm listening to.
Yeah, he's as a man, it's just plummeted.
Yeah, man. I'm not about to split bread with this nigga when I saw him crying like a baby.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah, that's what Phil is feeling
more than anything. Like,
yeah, remember how's John? I don't know. Okay, I guess there was veil of tears.
I guess there was veil of tears.
Yeah, man. Fuck John. Yeah, taking his bread off top. Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, it's my shit now.
He like, is this your king? Like, bro.
This planting the seed for this Phil saying, this my shit, man. You ain't even worried about John.
Johnny ain't coming home no time soon. I'm about to run shit my way.
Yeah, like, niggas is crying, B. Like, nah, watch out. Carmela speaks to Adriana's mom, Liz LaServa, and she pretty much says that her daughter's dead. She believes, and she ain't talked to Aid in 2 years, which obviously that's about the timeline since long-term parking.
I'm sorry. I got a question, just a real quick question about something that just happened right before she seen him. Mm-hmm. What did y'all take from the scene where Tony waved at, was it her name, Jillian?
We call her Kaisha here.
Kaisha. When he waved at Kaisha all excited and then kind of got like a little bit mellow or sad. Was it a reminder that my life is a pair of socks and I couldn't even beat you down because I'm trying to do the right thing and doing the right thing is boring? Is that what y'all took?
That's what this is all is about.
That's what I took.
Okay. Yep.
Just it's the same thing with the how exciting Stealing the Wine was. Like, I'm looking for these moments of thrill. That was a brief moment of thrill. Oh, there she go again. Hey, like
chasing it might make more sense then. Chasing it. That might make more sense now. That episode.
Yeah.
I just feel like Tony's at a whole. By the time we get to chasing it, he's past this. I could be wrong. We'll revisit it.
I guess we'll see the build up towards it, but yeah,
chasing it is a 6A episode too. That's funny. Like, it's not really, but it should be a 6A episode. It feels like a 6A episode. Right
into B.
No, it's like 4 episodes into B. But if I'm saying when you look at B as a whole, that's the one episode that feels like it should have been a 6A.
Yeah,
because it ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Nothing on nothing. It's all a big nothing.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to add.
Reminder.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to add with the Liz LaServa conversation other than just telling Carmela that and Carmela bringing it up later. Yeah, whatever. Right.
Would you think she was crazy if he was Carmela?
No, because
you would.
No, because it is just Carmela. Carmela's one of those. And I fell victim to this, and some people be like, that's just one of those people that, because somebody else said it, that's your research. Carmela's just one of them type of people. Like, remember when she's arguing with Meadow about an Arthur being gay or not, or have the book being a gay theme, and she was like, well, such said the movie says, and it's like, well, it's built from the book. Like, so Carmela's just one of those type of people. Like, she just, they said they broke up, or it was, So yeah, I wouldn't believe she's crazy. Like, that's. We didn't go to no funeral, I never seen her again, and I wouldn't think she's crazy. I think it's interesting if I was Liz. Carmela.
Interesting.
I love how Meadow don't be barring Carmela. They don't be giving a fuck about what Carmela said.
Nah.
She be like literally ignores your question. She's like, man, keep going somewhere with that.
Yeah. Chris.
Another funny relationship.
Yeah, another one. Thanks. Chris and Corky. They meet and he pays him most of the money, but the difference he gives him in drugs, and decides to participate with him. And again,
you can only pull that off on somebody who takes drugs and hard drugs. Yep. If you owe me bread, do not come to me talking about I got half your bread and I got a couple ounces of weed. Nigga, I can buy my own fucking weed. Give me my fucking money.
With the bread that you about to give me.
Yeah, with the bread that you about to give me, nigga. Stop playing with me.
Blundetto, he's probably the only other person.
Him and Blundetto, what?
Corky. That obviously the drug habit and Blundetto, they did a payment plan on him doing a murder.
Yeah, that was a respect thing. He respected Angelo a lot. So even though that was some bullshit, Because I'm a big believer. You teach people how to treat you. So now everybody know we can pay.
That nigga on afterpay after a murder. Come on.
It's usually half now, half later though. That's how it works.
They did, but the later when it came, they put a payment on. They put a payment plan on the later.
I know this ain't all of it, bro, but yeah, I'm saying
on a murder is crazy.
After the body done fell, like come on,
they put a murder on layaway. Kids don't even know what that is.
I got a little something for you this week, man. Don't worry about it, boss.
Bro, layaway, man. What a concept.
Hey, man, stop playing with me, man.
All right. But yeah, so Chris ends up saying, like I said, you need to get into rehab and stuff. You know, Corky just doing the thing that you imagine people that struggle in this area do, like, yep, I'm gonna get myself together and all this, and you know, and pretty much Chris ends up participating. You know, he
wait, what? Wait, you said Corky did what?
Chris tells Corky, like, hey man, you need to basically, like, you need to get in rehab, get yourself together and stuff. And Corky's like, yeah, I know, I will eventually, you know.
Oh, this is the same conversation that Tony and Chris was having. It's inauthentic. It's like he has no intention.
Oh, that's what I'm getting at. I'm right there, like, and Chris, no. So Chris takes a bump, and it looks so realistic.
He took a toot.
He took a toot.
He said, I guess I could toot it.
Toot.
Every time I hear toot, now I think of Mo.
That I do not do freebase. That's
toot, little toot.
Take a little toot. And then he looks at it and it's like slow-mo on like the blood pulling through. Just they really are giving us that the ideal, or how we supposed to see the fixation of a person that struggles or has a like this sickness or this addiction, when they show it in slow-mo, the pulling of the blood, and like how that's like scratching his itch of wanting to participate, and eventually he does. And
nigga, Chris lied. He lied and told Corky, yeah, I'm about to start a tradition. Christmas Eve, Christmas, you'll come over. Nigga, Corky ain't getting no invite to the crib when the rest hey, but stop playing.
Could you imagine him being
see, there? This is what it is. Like, this is what Tony already knows.
And now I'm not even go ahead.
I was just gonna quote not The Wire this time, but Succession, when Logan told his kids, like, y'all are not serious people.
You're not serious people.
Chris is not a serious person. If you don't want to get high, bro, don't sit here in the car with a nigga that's getting, like, don't tell him he can get high in your car. Like, it's really simple, bro, if you're a serious person. But Christopher Moltisanti is not a serious person.
I like it. He's not a serious person.
Nah, that's one of my favorite lines of Succession, man, because it was so serious. Nigga say, I love you.
Love y'all.
But you're not serious people. Like, at all.
I gotta use that. That is so brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you got cousins like that where it's like, I love you, but you're not a serious person.
And it hit because sometimes when you think of that line, you think somebody trying to be funny, but it hit because it was real. And as viewers, you know that he's serious. None of y'all are serious.
And I'm telling the truth. Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling the truth.
Said, Rich. I'm not even saying this shit to offend you. I just I wanted to let you know that I pick up on it. So don't even try it with me.
That's good, bro. God, I'm sorry. It's just such a simple. I love simple, profound lines like that.
Yeah,
man, it's like, a bar.
Because I got stuff to lose. I take things serious. Like, I gotta do this. Y'all are not serious people. Like, y'all are convincing yourselves. Like, that's what Chris is doing. You're convincing yourself. You're selling everybody. You're trying to sell everybody on it, but you know.
Listen, and Spike will tell you. He'll confirm this. When I think about Succession, I can pick. You can move Chris right to that same couch they was all sitting on, and it applies because Chris is not. He's just like the rest of the motherfuckers.
Yeah,
you are not a serious person, bro. You got all the advantages in the world. You got the world by the balls, bro. You just are not serious enough to even make something happen with it.
Yeah, who's worse, Chris or Bubbles?
Damn.
In what sense? When you say worse, what do you mean? Like who life is worse?
On the train, off the train.
Bubbles had the worst life. His nigga lived in his sister's basement, couldn't even come upstairs, getting beat up for t-shirts. Like, Bubbles had hell.
Yeah,
Chris is fortunate. Yeah, Chris is fortunate to be in a position that he's in as a drug addict. Bubbles, like, he went through the ringer, nigga. As much as I don't fuck with that character,
yeah,
like, I still feel empathy for what he went through. Like, Bubbles was fucked up.
Oh man, he went through.
Bubbles was fucked up.
That bully came through. That bully beat up Bubbles one time and said, "This is how it's gonna be every time we meet." Could you imagine that? A nigga beating you up and said, "Every time I see you, this is what's gonna happen."
Nigga said, "Don't ever make me have to work as hard for this shit again, nigga." Come on.
Hey, this nigga would. Hey, that nigga would be beating up another nigga, see Bubbles, and let that other nigga go. Like, I'm going to go get Bubbles.
Dedication.
Oh,
That is dedication right
man,
there, man.
free
Hey,
chicken.
stop
That's
playing.
free
Like,
chicken
that
right
is
there.
crazy.
Free lunch
Yeah.
program.
Man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so Chris gives in and he's, we see that he does it, then he ends up getting high and, throwing up, and we get a montage of Chris just being high. It's crazy because every time I see this scene, just the whole montage of it all, and it ends, and we see the dog, and the dog obviously I feel like is like a reminder of Corzette. This whole episode is kind of a reminder of Adriana, the dog right there. The getting pregnant, the getting married, the getting the home, all of this is like that, but you're getting high because of what you really wish it was. And even then getting that flashback from long-term parking. So all of this just feels like that.
No, that's real. It's a crazy montage.
And like this nigga like all in the dog mouth and everything, boy. Like,
man,
like,
high.
Nigga's head be all in the toilet. His head and his hairs was in the toilet. Disgusting. So, but yeah, so pretty much Chris is just out of it. Everybody's gone. They shut down the lights, shut down everything. Chris is out of it. And then we get to the next morning, where they're starting to bring Saint Elzer. If I'm not saying it right, y'all correct me. Those that are listening, I apologize. But Saint Elzer, it seems like
Elzer. It's Elzer.
Elzer. Okay.
Yep.
So Saint Elzer, they're bringing him out, but Chris didn't make the deal, so he didn't get the hat, and the hat is like 100 years old or something like that, a tradition, and everybody's asking where's his hat, and true Paulie fashion. I don't have nothing else to add to that.
Nah, nothing else to say to that myself.
Yeah, nothing.
I'm gonna get this out the way. I know that I can imagine David Chase or whoever was a part of the writing of this. This is a big thing in Italian culture. I'm sure it feels very intentional, like the Columbus episode or whatever, Christopher episode. But I don't have nothing to give. Like, I'm not gonna get anywhere into any of those like themes or what do I think it means or none of it. So I'm gonna let y'all straight up know, get that out of the way. I don't, So, but we go back to Tony and Carmela, and Tony's just looking around. He's definitely got the boredom look. Like, he's just looking through cabinets. Maybe I'll eat something, maybe I won't. And we just getting the idea that Tony is bored. And Carmela talks to Tony about Liz LaServa's belief of Adriana being dead. And then Tony's just, finessing this whole thing, just making up numbers, 9 out of 10 and this and that. This nigga don't know nothing. But all I wanted to ask y'all, does Carmela actually care, or is she trying to convince herself otherwise?
It's funny because go ahead.
She's just as bored as Tony is. She not like
the kids
shenanigans.
Are out the house.
Yeah, the kids are gone. The shenanigans that Tony is usually up to, the gumas or whatever it may be, like, she's just as bored as he is. And you could tell in the interaction when he's looking in the fridge. This is something that piques her boredom. Like, she wouldn't even give a fuck about this if something else was going on. But now, since both of them are bored,
this is brilliant.
Which goes right into what we're gonna see the next couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's gonna pick up on that. Like, Carmela needs something to do because now you fucking up with my shit.
Hey, this is really brilliant because it makes you feel bored with them in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
they did it to us as fans in this season. Like, everybody bored, nigga. Yeah. David says, like, okay, HBO want this, everybody gonna be bored.
That's good, man. Like,
yeah, kind of brilliant when you think about it, like you said. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he's OJ.
Man, never cease to do that. There's a later scene where I gotta be like, all right, y'all, like, that's just racist. There's a later scene I'm like, all right, y'all just racist. I'm sorry. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about when we get there too. You're like, okay. Out of all
Which episode? This episode?
This episode. There's a scene later where out of all the people that are around, why this character? It's not even a character. We don't know this person.
I already know what you mean.
All right, so
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You just
Because is it has something to do with the ride?
Yes.
Okay, because even that when Little Polly's describing it, you could have just said a kid. Little Polly could have just said a kid lost his teeth. Nigga said a Puerto Rican kid. Nigga. He had to make sure he do. Like that's gonna make Polly get out of bed. Nigga, fuck you. Yeah, keep going, bro.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, we get back to the carnival, and Paulie gets a call about a possibility of having cancer. Janice and the kids are on the kiddie ride. It's just good to see Janice. And the ride starts sparking and messing up, and the little Puerto Rican kid ends up hitting his nose and having a nosebleed.
Yeah, man, that little ride ain't do all that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck this shit up. I'd have been livid. Somebody would have caught hands. That's my child. Somebody's catching hands on site. I don't give a fuck, nigga. And I'm calling the cops and telling them I did it.
I fuck with roller coasters. I'll ride rides in the amusement park, but you have a hard time getting me on a fair ride.
Good point.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can do the fair rides, bro.
Yeah, y'all do too much packing up stuff and moving it around.
Yeah, it's too shit too mobile for me.
Yeah,
like to feel like I'm good, bro. I know this roller coaster was built here. Like
they ain't going nowhere. They ain't never moving screws, unscrewing.
You can move this shit from town to town. I don't know if I want to ride this shit, bro.
Facts. That's a good point. I never thought. I don't ride roller coasters no matter what anyway, but that's a great point though.
Something like this happened in Columbus, Ohio. I think at one of the state fairs, like maybe some years back. Where it's like, all that janky shit, that Final Destination shit, I'm cool.
But do you ride roller coasters and shit, Rich?
Hell yeah. I'll get on a roller coaster. I ain't never worried about that.
I won't ride a fair ride, though.
I go to a theme park. I just ain't riding
25, 30 years.
Yeah, this little Lego set, I'm cool. And you look at the dude running it, like, I'm cool, bro.
Yeah, then the people running it be drunks and shit, like, nah. No, sir. Not me.
But yeah, and then
little Puerto Rican kid lost his teeth. Why can't you just say kid, man? Just say kid.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, right. Little Paulie can't shut up. But yeah, so they got the call. Pretty much, Paulie's like, you deal with it. I got my biopsy, all that, yada yada, whatever. And we get to the Sunday Sopranos dinner that they're still carrying on, and Janice is going on and on about the ride.
Leave it alone, Janice.
I love Tony in this scene.
She knew what she was doing. Then she tries to give Bobby the blues about not doing something. He was like, I was taking Sophia to the bathroom. Like,
sounds just like when Tony was talking to AJ last episode. And what'd you do? Nothing.
Exactly.
That's some Soprano shit right there.
Yeah, it's like, but why? She knew she was gonna get a reaction out of it. But golly, boy, to deal with this all the time.
Hey, I'll never forget. I think Tax. This is like 2014. Tax was on Brilliant Idiots. He was just talking about like the way he would terrorize like people if you had beef with you. He said, I beef with you, man. I'm fucking with your girl because now you got problems at home now. And that's some of the realest shit I've ever heard. Because if somebody causes problems for you at home, you gotta take care of that.
Got to, because you ain't gonna hear the end of it.
As soon as Janice said, what did you do? Nothing. Now you got a problem at home. Now I gotta pull up on this nigga at his hotel. Now I gotta do recon work, find out where he at, beat him up, demand money. All because my wife isn't got an issue with it. Yeah. If it was up to Bobby, it just would have been whatever, man. I'm just happy everybody cool. Nah, that ain't good enough.
Yeah. He would have been talking about to the victor belongs the spoils.
And them niggas racist as fuck at this dinner table, man.
Man. At least they're consistent.
Yeah, this niggas up here getting a good laugh.
But this Carmela keeps observing Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is she observing Christopher from the Adriana thing to think, could he actually have done that? Or is she observing him like he looked like he high?
The Adriana thing.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's the Adriana and what's the new chick name?
Kelly.
Kelly.
It's both of it. It's that too. She trying to figure that situation out. He married, like Kelly's at our house now having dinner. I don't know who she is. Like, and they married and he finna have a child with her. Could you imagine? Like Carmela, the type of person that she is, yeah. Like, and Tony telling her that. Like Carmela probably would even wanted her to come over for dinner, and now she here married to Chris.
Wow.
Nigga said El Mucho Pesos. Come on, man. Remember that song? Hey, somebody remember Ari Entourage? How many pesos did I give you last Christmas? Hey, y'all niggas be racist as fuck, man. That shit be silly.
Already said the lost and found. Are you still in that? Lost and found are taking the olives. So I didn't take anything for lost and found, but the olives.
What about the olives?
I'm kidding.
I'm just kidding.
Like,
it's a joke.
It's right.
It's a joke.
But shouts out to Meadow, looking great here. Great little. You know, she's definitely come a long way. But then Tony says a statement. He says the wine seems like it's lost its pop.
Lost its pop, man.
Yep, which again just ties up the, nothing's exciting anymore, the thrill of it. Everything tastes better, or it seems better when it's harder to get. Like that's just everything in life for whatever reason. It's just like that.
I just want to shout out one more time, man. We've talked about this in previous episodes. Tony and Janice's relationship, just before he just looking at her and just like, leave it alone, Janice. Like, I already know where you're trying to go. You already rubbing your neck. Like, stop it, bro. Stop.
I mean, when I think about what could have happened to my baby, like,
we all know people like it too. When they get to the point, you're like, oh my god.
I definitely got an auntie like this. I'm like, bro.
Yes,
I'm not
like,
sitting next to your table at the
come
restaurant,
on, bro.
I'm not sitting next to your table at the restaurant. She'll do all that, and she'll tip them really well though. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I got aunties and cousins like that too. Like it'll make it worth your time.
Yeah, but
still, you got to put up with that bullshit.
But I'm embarrassed and ashamed. But yeah. So then after we get to that point, Bobby goes to visit.
Bobby getting active.
This is when you fell in love with Bobby right here.
Yeah, it was before then. It was before this when he came. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby
got active right here though.
Yeah, Bobby, he getting active and he mean it too. So Bobby goes to visit the maintenance man and finds out that Paulie cut corners on the money, and that's pretty much that. We go back to the carnival in St. Elzier. They got all the dollars posted on it. This is Chris Malone. Just give us a little insight on that, like the dollars pinned up on the, the statue, I guess, if that's fair to say. Have you ever experienced that? Hit us back. But yeah, pretty much Bobby comes and he's looking for Paulie, and Bobby is big mad. And even then, Paulie's still stone faced, like, nigga, I don't care about you or your wife, bro. Like,
fuck her. Fuck you.
That's Tony's sister, bro.
Hey man, fuck her too.
Well, I fuck with Paulie though, cause he gonna stand on this shit, man.
Yeah,
I fuck with
stand on business.
Because really, that's how he feel all the time. Like he don't care nothing about none of the women. Like I hate to say he's the worst. Shit, like he cares nothing about none of the women. Bro.
He did that with Carmelo when it came to that money.
Absolutely. Yep. Like he don't care nothing about
fuck her.
Look at what he said to his Nucci, his mom. Like that nigga don't like.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah, he got some mommy issues or something. Like before he even got the reveal, I feel like. He said he had to go to therapy at one point, and I think that was what it was. But yeah, so pretty much that is that. And then he's like, my wife's got neck damage. Like, what did she put Bobby into? She looped him into some, like, that's crazy. And they're having a cannoli eating contest.
That's cool. That's wild.
Cannoli's got the cream filling, right?
Hey, chill, bro. What's the next scene with Mel? Let's get
it's like the brown thing with the Vito.
Yeah, keep going, man.
All right.
Hey, homage to Vito this episode. He definitely would have been in this contest.
All right, you've been a winner. So, oh my gosh, Vito, man.
Nigga say he would have been a winner. Hey, you wild, man.
Hey.
I'm thinking about these niggas was really getting they broke back mountain note. I'm sorry. Y'all are too old to be in the dirt doing it.
Madon.
Yeah, New Hampshire. Bro, get a rule. Why would you old niggas out? All right. Anyway, y'all go back and listen to Live Free or Die. I think that's the episode. No, that was Johnny Cakes. But anyway. So yeah, we get to the scene where Tony is now in a Melfi session, and they have a conversation about Tony being bored, and it's just interesting. Like it's just an interesting thing, and it's just one of those things where Tony's trying to be on the right path and right, and you know, and it just doesn't feel good to him. Like it doesn't feel good to be good, which is an interesting character trait. That's all I wanted to say. It's just it doesn't feel good to be good.
It's shit boring, man.
Yeah.
Doing what you're supposed to do, being disciplined,
Yep.
not fucking breaking the rules. That shit boring to him, man. He wasn't raised like that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
I think that's a problem most, like as men get older, like that's the problem most men face. Like so,
that's why
it was brilliant that David Chase played it out on here, like being with Tony Soprano. But like it whether you're Tony Soprano or you're somebody that fucking work in Amazon warehouse, you still understand this from a personal level. Like the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. Like I remember I used to be out on the weekends. Now it's 2:00 on a Saturday. I'm on the couch watching football. Like things like that. Like people can relate to that.
Yeah.
So I think it was very well done.
Very relatable content. Like absolutely. Paulie and his ma, they talk, and the rumor is spreading about him being cheap with the ride, and he snaps on her. He just he's just losing it. Is this all just because he's waiting on his results? Is that why he just on edge?
The stress.
It's a mix of that. It's a mix of him being upset about the whole reveal with his mom not being his mom. He ain't healed, man. Tony need to be in Paulie need to be in Melfi's office.
Yeah. Or maybe
that's something I'll watch.
Maybe
I would love to see a Paulie therapy
I would
session.
take a spinoff series of that, 10 episodes on YouTube or something. Just 10 Paulie therapy sessions.
Well, what if Paulie was with Melfi's doctor?
He would have killed him. He would have bodied that nigga. He would have been in somebody's trunk.
Because you know that
Ellie would have been in the trunk.
He couldn't understand why he had a woman therapist. Like Paulie couldn't understand that. He said, "Don't compute for me." Like on the finale of the first season. So it's like it'd be interesting. It would be.
That goes to what you just said, Mo, about him not respecting women. He just don't.
Yeah, that's why he's like, if it was me, I would stay single if I was y'all. Like, you know. So it's a really great drawn out character for him not to necessarily be the character at first, and them like writing something for him and how fleshed out his character.
Paulie's 1,000% a get back in the kitchen type of nigga.
Definitely
Facts.
Get back in your freaking hole.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you're gonna go out there, clean up, and make them tacos.
He's definitely that. I'm from the old school, Janice.
I'm a cook. I'm a clean.
That is definitely Paulie Gaultieri energy right there.
Oh shit. Hey, Baby Boy so fried, bro. That movie's so fucking fried.
It is. It is.
About as fried as that IG reel. Hey, neither one of y'all niggas responded to me.
The lack of response was the response.
I was over here laughing because when I said it, I said neither one of them are gonna say anything back to this. I almost just said something. I almost just said it and didn't even say nothing with it.
That is crazy, man.
I saw that shit. That was one of those, man. That was one of those. I had to see it, so y'all got to see it. That was one of those.
You laughed at it in real time?
Nah, I was like, "What the fuck is this, man? Be serious."
I seen the still photo and then click that. I was like,
she got black kids.
No,
she got black kids for sure.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, we know them.
I was waiting on the joke. You know, sometimes you got somebody makes a reaction to it. They cut it off and they get their own commentary. That was the real. Like she really made that. I'm like, yo, you fried.
Yeah, no extra. Like,
shit.
But yeah, so as we kind of get through the rest of this, Christopher's bachelor party, I guess they're at Vesuvio's or whatnot, and you know, pretty much, Bobby pulls up. Not Bobby, Paulie pulls up and Bobby's out of there. He's like, man, forget all
I
this.
ain't breaking bread with this nigga.
Yeah, I'm cool off of him. Like, what you,
and the worst thing is when somebody fuck up like that and they still making jokes and kikiing like you ain't fuck up. You ain't got no kind of empathy, sympathy, no nothing. You acting like everything cool. You ain't even give this man a, hey man, my bad, I'm gonna make this right. Like, not even a, hey, how's your daughter doing? Like, you a dirtbag. Everybody got uncomfortable. You still, Rosemary, I'll eat her. Like, bruh, read the room.
Yeah, nobody felt that because
Polly a real
everybody
piece
thought
of
that was
shit.
whack. Everybody thought that was whack. Like, it's like, bro, come on, dog. I get being cheap. Everybody cuts a little bit off the top before they
Don't
pay
skip
up.
on safety. You don't skip on safety.
Yeah, but exactly. That's just say, bro, you don't cut corners on that. Like, people can die. Like, that is bad for business. So Tony tells him to make it right with Bobby pretty much. And then Paulie snaps back at Tony for a second. And then he reels it back in, telling him, like, hey, I got, I'm waiting on some results to see if I got prostate cancer or whatever. And, whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Nigga said whatever to his prostate cancer. Jeez.
What are you gonna do? You lived a long life, brother.
Nah, no, I think where that comes from is recently with Paulie, I feel like there's always something. Like, bro, every time I look up, it's something.
Yeah,
it's your mom shit. Man. Now it's this shit. Like, bro, get over it, man. I don't want to hear this shit.
Right, bro.
It's what we do. Like, this is what we do on our job, bro. Like, you got to deal with life. Like, it just happens like that. I like the way that Tony handles conflict with Paulie, though. Like how he come in, like wiping, like he found a place in the he seen it probably go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna go talk to him here instead of in front of everybody, so he's not embarrassed. And then I'm gonna just tell him, like, bro, like all this shit, get it handled. No, it's not because of my sister. No, it's not this, nigga. You fucking up, and don't try to put it on anything else other than you fucking up. He handled this really well. Like this is one of those moments where Tony was being a really good Tony.
Facts, agreed.
He's like, it goes in your pocket. I'm sorry. Like,
and he told him, he was like, bro, if it ain't making good money, like, why the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah,
like you acting like somebody forced you to do this. Like, get rid of it if it ain't a good business. Like, let's keep it moving.
Like, he an underachiever, bro.
Like, that's the best bar. That's one of the best bars he could have given him, man. Why the fuck you still got it?
Yeah, like if it ain't making money, what we doing this for?
Yeah, we ain't doing nothing that ain't making money. Like, this is all this headache and safety issue. Get that out of here.
That's ironic. That's ironic because that's what Rafi was trying to tell Tony.
Facts.
Right.
Oh, you meant to read you went to read that thing, Mo. We didn't get to read it.
Yeah.
We'll read it.
I'll tell you what, let's bring it up right before we do our ranking. Because I do want to just speak to that a little bit because it is fire. I thought about it actually as soon as I seen Paulie on this scene. But yeah, so they had a talk and pretty much like Paulie gonna get it together, I guess, once he gets the information. Chris comes over to Tony's and they come down to the basement and they joke about the same thing and have nothing else to talk about. Literally, so Chris says the same exact statement, like Grizzly Adams, like the whole.
So hard to watch.
It is
$300 for the 5K. Some niggas almost got killed for $300.
That's what I was like, bro. Like, that is crazy work.
And Tony
even
for
with
inflation,
even with inflation in 2024 prices, that still wasn't worth it.
Still wouldn't be number like six.
That might have jumped to like 500, maybe.
Yeah, 5, maybe 6.
That's like really chump change. That's like street money. Like, you know what I mean? That's like nickel and dime for real. Like,
and that's not as good as wine as Tony was talking about. Like, if that's how you get from it.
Yeah, you just make it. It seemed like it was great because of how y'all got it. Again, talking about inauthentic. In your mind, you wanted it to be better because of how you got it, how y'all worked hard at it, how y'all are trying to bond. But the reality is, it lost its pop, but it never had to pop. It's Mike's secret stuff. You know what I mean?
So, I like that.
Yeah. So that's all that was. It was just some barefoot. That's it. Yeah, I thought it was something else.
Sipping on Rossi, chilling with my posse.
Yeah, that's it. It was just some great value Walmart joints.
That's funny.
Mob guys getting great value wine is hilarious. Nah,
they had the Taylor Port.
They had the Taylor Port.
They had the Taylor Port.
Had that port, man. It was getting to it with the high percentages. But yeah, they pretty much it's just dry and it shows like they don't have a real relationship. Like Spike was saying it earlier, it's inauthentic. He thought that they could pull up, like when you got real friendships, or you could pull up and y'all can kick it for.
I can just sit down.
Yeah,
I can just sit down, bro. And ain't no force talking. Like, you just sit down.
Yeah, and it shows like it's nothing really there because of they've just been through too much. And we'll see when the movie comes out, Cleaver, we'll see that like there was some. Obviously, we'll see some of Chris's internal thinking. So yeah, but I don't have nothing else to add to this scene, just to show like it's.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. But Paulie calls the doctor at 3 a.m. Paulie goes to the Bada Bing and has an hallucination, and he sees the Mother Mary on the stage. They go back to the carnival.
That nigga's a creep. He came in and said, "Any of the girls working yet?" He was ready.
Who?
Hey, boy, hitting the strip club as soon as it opened.
That's a different level of.
Boy, that's nasty.
Yeah, that's when you sit your mans down and like, hey man, you good? Everything all right?
Jeez Louise.
You see
That
people
nigga had a suit jacket on and everything. But he put clothes on to come here. That's crazy.
That is. I don't even know how early they open, but that is like.
That had to be like 8 in, bro.
Because you can see the
Yeah,
sun.
super early. I know he was meeting Paulie because Tony said he was gonna be there to meet him for something. But the fact that he even asked is any of the girls working. Like, bro, we here for business, man. You think about breakfast. Get your ass back to Pennsylvania.
That is the same dude from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. Get your ass back to Pennsylvania, bro. Why you worried about that?
Oh, he looked like
I know.
He looked like he.
I know his search. His search history is disgusting.
Oh yeah, he definitely pays for it. He definitely pays for it.
Yeah, he got some disgusting search history.
Boy,
he subscribed to Dre Mateo's OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
My brown sugar head ass. We go to the last scene. Pretty much not the last, second to last scene. We go there back at the carnival, and little is her name Sophia or is that the other daughter?
Yeah, she man, what is her name? It's not Sophia.
Okay, that's Bobby's daughter. Well, anyway, baby, you know, the baby daughter of the Bacalas or whatever. Tony grabs and picks her up and kind of becomes like the theme park for her.
Dominica.
Her name's what?
Dominica.
Never heard that ever.
Yeah, I do remember them because when she first came around, Dominica. Then they call her a nickname or something.
Name.
It's a wild name.
That's about as crazy as Parvati.
That's maybe even crazier. Call your white Italian daughter Dominica. I can't believe Bobby let her get away with that.
Janice got that fire. What are you gonna do?
Nika is what they call her. They call her Nika.
Nika?
Mm-hmm.
What does Nika sound like?
Dominica. Dominica. Nika.
Them my niggas.
Them
my niggas.
You want to come to America? You want to come to America?
Hey, you want to rush out? Did you just watch Rush Hour 2?
Passports.
No. I'm about to say, did you just watch that movie? Bro, this is the second time you referenced it. This
nigga
said to you.
About the
oh no, I just heard
your shots. Do you want to come to America?
Bro, that's a tie back to another week of the books, bro. That's where I got it from. I know it's from Rush Hour.
That's what you was talking about.
I seen it, but I say, yo, that is crazy. Singing it with conviction like that was.
That man was dead ass serious too,
real.
man. Like, there's a lot of listeners out there listening. They ain't gonna know what we talking about, man. Y'all got to find it on y'all own. We ain't gonna promote or endorse that, but do you have your shots? It's crazy. Do you have your shots? Melodic though.
Bro, recruiting for rings, bro. This is nuts. Like, this is nuts. This is like.
I said, do you have your pass?
He's singing a job application. He's singing out like a job application. Like, that's crazy.
Jesus Christ. God.
Nah, because that whole
sick. Just sick.
Do you have your passport? Did you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Is fucking insane.
Yeah, he was taking resumes when he was singing that, man.
On stage in front of 80,000 people, bro.
Like, one of our listeners gonna look that up. They say, I gotta know what they're talking about. They're gonna be like, oh my God.
Yeah, y'all gotta look that up. We ain't gonna tell y'all about that.
We're not, we ain't even gonna talk about it.
You gotta be in Black culture to know about that. Yeah, that's one of those.
America.
Do you have your shots? Do you have your shots? Hey, man, you know what kind of nigga do you gotta be? Like, what are you talking about?
You've done this before. Family? You've done this before is what it sounds like.
Oh my God.
There is no way. Anyways, never mind.
Jeez.
I'm gonna hold it.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I can't.
Nah, that's insane, man. That's insane. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, it is.
That's something.
You're supposed you are where you're supposed to be.
Facts.
But yeah, I do just love the moment that Tony picks up his niece. It speaks to no matter she wants to get back on the ride, and it's this subtle theme that I think they were trying to tell us that like even as dangerous as it was and the possibility of it going wrong, Nika still wanted to go back on the ride anyway. It speaks to Tony, the same thing. Tony, same thing. It's like as bored as it is, he would do something like that again. What he did with Chris, go out there and rob people for some some barefoot wine. So,
do you have your shots?
Oh, yo, man, I shouldn't even be laughing at that shit, man. It's just so fucking fried.
Somebody backstage had to be like, bro, what's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
Real quick.
What's wrong with you? Yeah, somebody had to genuinely say that.
Like, you remember when he put that song out, like right before everything happened? He put this song out talking about all the type of women that he likes. It was this long freestyle, bro. I was like, bro.
And the fucked up hold on. My fault, man, bro. My fault. The whole crazy part is this nigga, he was singing that song. He was in Ethiopia. Like, so the fact that you ain't even there, you ain't even in the States, you meant that. You were really asking them.
No, this is a real question.
Them, you said, yes, that's a real question.
A real question.
No, he meant that. Yeah. He's recruiting.
God,
but the fact that you sung it, bro, come on, man, you fried, bro.
Yeah, he's
man.
Pied Piper, y'all.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I wonder what's French Canadian for. I'm a good uncle. In our last scene, Paulie visits his ma, and they try to build a bridge a bit, and they sit back and watch whatever this show is. I mean, definitely old people vibes. That's that's a given. Senior citizen vibes. I don't know what the show is. Maybe there's a meaning, or maybe it either has meaning or has no meaning. Either way, I don't care. And that's it. I don't have nothing to add for. I mean, I'm glad Paulie went over there.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm glad Paulie went over there. He needed, in times like this where everybody, you don't have nobody around, you need family in this moment. And whatever family he got, if it's just her, that he needed her. Like, so.
Yeah, mother's love is strong because for the way you treated her, and for her to just kind of let that slide and be like, all right, bet. Without you explaining as to why you even came back, you just came back and sat down like everything was cool. Like we pieced it up.
Yeah.
Mother's love is strong, man. Nothing like it.
Facts.
All right, before we get into our ranking, Spike Lou, there's a theory out there on Reddit, right?
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, well,
I'll read it.
Okay.
If you'll give me one moment, I will pull it up.
I'll dig the hole.
All right. So there's a Reddit theory in the Sopranos Reddit community, and it reads like this. It says, do I have the wrong idea about Paulie? And the title of it is Paulie killed that fucking horse, and he tried to kill Tony. All right, it's a little long. If I was Mo, I wouldn't read it all, but I'm going to try to tough through it. It says, do I have the wrong idea about Paulie? The way that I interpreted Pio Mai's subplot was that Paulie was very clearly killed her to get back at Ralph. And he and Ralph were having a feud at the time, and Paulie lost it over the joke on Paulie's mother. Paulie tried to bring it up with Tony. Tony wouldn't do anything, so he had to take matters into his own hands. With the hair trigger temper like Paulie's, it's not like he wouldn't have done nothing at all. He knew that Ralph would be blamed. Afterwards, the entire incident's going much better than expected. Tony could say what he likes, but everyone knew that he killed Ralph. He was so proud what he had done, and he had Tony repainted as a general and hung the painting on the wall. This was a smoking gun. I suspected him before that, but after that, I knew. See, Ralph never admitted it outright, but I interpreted that even if I did lie or whatever, as him becoming well aware that he couldn't convince Tony that he was innocent no matter what he did. So he tried to make him see it from a business perspective. And by that point, he was desperate. The biggest hole in the popular theory there is that Ralph supposedly killed the horse because he needed the cash to help his family in hospital bills and whatnot. If he really needed that money, he'd come to Tony on his knees and he would have forgotten it. Also, he was a capo. He had access to resources that other guys did not have. And instead of using those, he decides to cross a boss he was already on thin ice with. He could have also just delayed paying the bills until he had the money. People do this in real life all the time without any mob connections, and it would have been doubled easily since his hospital in mob controlled New Jersey. It would have been done easily since the hospital was in mob controlled New Jersey. And we would have gotten someone at least lean on a bill collector, and that gave him trouble. Ralph did not Artie alone, not on the basis that he didn't have the money, but on the basis that Artie might not pay. And there was nothing he could do to him if he didn't. And Tony paid for Power Miles treatment out of his own pocket. He would have paid a capo's son hospital bills if asked. I also interpreted the scene in the hospital where Paulie nearly annoyed Tony to literal death, as Paulie, knowing exactly what he was doing, this is a guy who smothered a little old lady with her pillow in order to pay her off, in order not to pay her off. Relatively minor debt, a relatively minor debt. A guy who clearly expected to be the boss by Johnny Sack after Tony expected to be killed. He had no respect for Tony. It's not that he didn't hear the beeping of the machine. It's that he intentionally waited until he thought Tony was past the point of no return before seeking help, because he would afford him the plausibility and deniability a boss dying alone in a room while Paulie owes him money, bound to bring it up at some uncomfortable questions. You saw how mad and disappointed Paulie was when he had to hand over that payment in the hospital. He was planning on not paying. Note, I'm still halfway through the 6th season, so please keep spoilers to a minimum if you can help it at all. So the premise of this post on Reddit, even though I read it pretty badly here, was that Paulie killed Pyomai versus Ralph killing Pyomai. And then they gave the reasoning behind Paulie killing Pyomai. Mo.
Just for me, I'm always on the side. I don't think Ralph killed Pyomai. Just because I think the irony of it all would be that the fact is, out of all the heinous, terrible things, this is the one time Ralph did not do it. I like the idea that he didn't do it. Like, and the irony of it all is it didn't matter anyway, because would you forget the 1,000, 100 other things with this guy or whatever Paulie said? So it's just like it didn't matter anyway. And one way or another, Tony was going to end up having to whack him regardless. So, you know, at that point, they made us feel bad for him whacking Ralphie, but we had to remember, didn't Ralph whack, literally kill his possible baby mama Tracy, future, so
it was his baby mama.
Yeah, Tracy.
The kid's not mine. So I like the theory. I don't know if Paulie's clever
Think
enough.
Paulie could have did it?
They don't give us enough clever, and there's some theories later in the series too. The thing about it is they don't give us enough cleverness from Paulie, and that's the problem.
But here's the great thing about it. He doesn't even have to. That's why I like the theory so much, Mo. He doesn't even have to be being clever in order to do this. This is just on some brute. I'm Paulie. I don't give a fuck about you, Ralph. I know you care about that horse. That horse is making Tony closer to you and making y'all money. I'm just gonna kill the horse. Not even understanding the repercussions of he's gonna think that Ralph did this and kill Ralph for it. So I don't even think he had to be clever to do it. It just had to have the hate there for Ralph.
Yeah, fair.
I like the theory.
I do.
Theory makes sense. I like anybody, thinking out the box of a possible thing. It wasn't so asinine that it was crazy.
Yep.
It wouldn't.
I have to dig into it more to really digest it, but very impressive theory. One of the better ones out there.
Yeah.
And that Redditor's name is, just so we give them, it's DAATHCHILD. The Child. Doth Child. So shout out to Doth Child.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, maybe, possibly. Spike Lou, how do you rank this episode?
We had some good conversations about this episode. There were some things that, we all looked at, I think, a little bit differently, at least from having a conversation amongst each other. But I still get this as just another envelope, man.
I know. Rich.
Well, I do agree. I think our conversation is better than the episode as a whole. Um,
Yeah.
I gotta get. It's above just another envelope, if for nothing else, but for the flashback scene. That alone, I think, could push it into a good earner. I don't feel right giving it just another envelope. It's definitely not made, but for some reason, I just feel like it's above just another envelope, and I really can't explain to you why. But it's a good earner.
I felt
Spike,
the
like, all right,
same way.
nigga.
No, I felt the same way, but I couldn't explain it. That's why I went down to just another
Nah,
envelope.
I
I was
feel you.
like, as I looked at this and made my notes, I was like, I know that I can't give this just another envelope, but that it feels like that's what it is. Pause.
It's shot, and I'm gonna go good earner as well. I was teetering back and forth. It is shot really well. Like that's the thing I wanted to say more than anything. It's just all Christopher montage of him getting high with the music, how well that was shot with the lights and him with the dog. Every angle they had with Chris, the slow motion with the blood, the slow motion with Kaisha or Juliana on the ride, like the way they shot this, even like the music they played when Chris and Tony was still in the wine. Like it felt like some old buddy cop type of thing. Like it's just the way this was shot was done really well. But nothing really happened. But I think we did
That's
get into
the reason I took away.
But
nothing happened.
But it's still like a good earner in the sense that nothing happened, but it propelled things in a whole nother way. When we have questions later, this is the episode you should reference.
Nah, that's a fact. It does mean something.
It means something. That's why I'm like, it's a pivotal episode for what it means later. So
it is a reference point. So. It is a reference point.
It's the beginning of something.
Yep. Another beginning since y'all talked about the Jersey and New York war. Who gets a good earner chain for you, Spike?
The good earner chain in this episode to me goes to Damn, man. It ain't a lot of picking and choosing to do from this episode. I guess I'd give it to Bobby, man. Bobby avenging his wife, wanting to rough up the dude with the ride, taking the brunt of the beating at the dinner table in front of everybody, but still going to do what he needed to do for his family. And holding dude and then pressing Paulie about it too and letting Paulie know that it wasn't cool. I'm gonna go with Bobby.
Okay. What say you, Rich?
The church.
That's a good one.
Church is a good earner, man. 10 racks, beat it. Up the price so you can get out of here.
Beat it.
The fact that they stood up to it and all these bad things happened to Paulie because he didn't want to pay up that money. Even if it's not a monetary gain, they still got the gain of satisfaction and knowing, like, all right, next year I bet you're going to come with that bread if you decide to keep doing it. Or we shut y'all down from having the control over this event. It was a win-win for them.
Good point.
I got Christopher.
Interesting.
In this moment in time in his life, at this very moment, it's things are good.
Even with the relapse.
Yeah, even with the relapse, it's like because he's thinking I got my sponsor Murmur, I'm gonna bounce back like I did, and when I went to Cali. So it's like
really
in this moment, I'm it's lit. I'm about to have a child. I've gotten married. Me and Tony are back. So in this present moment, I would say even though he got high, it's like he got everything he want right now. So in this present moment, Chris definitely get the good earning chain.
You could make an argument for Paulie's mom too.
Yeah. You could. Who gets the Broken Balls award from you, Spike?
The Broken Balls award goes to I'm gonna say what's Chris's fiance's now wife?
Kelly.
Yeah, she don't know what she in for. She has no idea what she just signed up for.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Poor Kelly. What about you, Rich?
I originally was going to say Adriana, but somebody who was actually in the episode, or maybe actually not in the episode, but still around, I'm going to give it to Johnny Sack. Johnny Sack, man, you have the most old school follow the book number 2 that's out here operating on your behalf, and you lost it because you shed tears. Not saying anything wrongs with that, but it's the fact that you're inside and now you're losing out on money. When we know Jenny could use it, the whole nine. Johnny Sacks, the broken ball. You have no control. This is it for you. Like, whether we know it directly or not, we can look back at this moment and say this is it for Johnny Sack.
I'm gonna go Bobby, man. It was between Bobby and Paulie, but Bobby didn't get anything accomplished. I mean, he can go back and tell Janice that, but nothing happened. Like, he didn't get anything accomplished. He just had to do something to get her quiet, and the way they got him up out of there, it was sad. Favorite quote, Spike Lee. You got a favorite quote of this episode?
Favorite quote of the episode. Damn, that's a good one.
There's one that's just low hanging fruit.
Yeah, I was gonna choose that, but I chose another one.
Mine is Phil. What happened to this guy now?
I was gonna say that one too.
Yeah, that was mine.
What do he do now?
What do he do now?
What about you, Rich?
Instead of taking a low hanging fruit, I got beef.
What's the low hanging fruit when y'all talking about?
Well, with the Vipers.
Oh, that wasn't one.
No, that wasn't it.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh shit. All right. Well,
but you're right. That is low hanging fruit.
That's low hanging fruit. That's what I was thinking of. I want to hear yours now. But I got smoke with Paulie, so I'm going to use his quote because fuck him. Dude at the vendor is telling him when he didn't pay that five days in advance or whatever it was, he said Ohio State Fair gives you a rebate for bad weather.
Thank God I'm not from Ohio.
yet another reason I don't live in Ohio, man. Watch your mouth, Paulie. Watch your mouth, Paulie. As someone who's lived in Ohio his entire life, man, watch your mouth.
That's funny.
Mine, the low hanging fruit I was referring to is, I mean, every day is a gift, but does it have to be a pair of socks?
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
I mean, it would just be remiss if I didn't.
Is that yours?
Yeah, I'm putting it there.
Gotcha.
Just because I just wanted to be talked about or read at the end of this. And then your favorite moment, Spike.
Mine was a real subtle moment though. I just like them eating at the fair when Tony was talking to Johnny Sack about the vitamin truck and shit like that. And, they were greeting each other and they worked out the deal, excluding Johnny Sack. I think it was a seed planted for what we're going to see in part B of season 6. Very subtle, not overly, expressional as far as what they were going to do, but it was very subtle. And them two just having that moment right there. So I'm going to go with that one.
Hey, my fault. I just realized I was tripping earlier. We got 12 episodes left after this. We really
What'd
down
you
at
say
the
first?
end. 15.
You said 15, yeah.
Yeah, we at 12. We about to be in single digits before the end of the year.
It's gonna be crazy when we get down to 5. He's like, oh man. What's your favorite moment of the episode?
Definitely Chris and Tony.
With the robbery?
From the robbery going to the conversation and the flashback scene, it was so revealing, very memorable from a viewer standpoint, but also very telling as to your bond is fake. It's not real. Even though you both strongly believe that it's a real thing right now, once this high wears off, you're going to realize that it's not. And you both are understanding something about each other. I just think it says a lot about, because that's the last, it makes so much sense when something in the future happens.
Yep, it does.
And you kind of see it. You see the future right now.
Yeah, you do. I guess mine's gonna be when Chris just reveals to the guys that he got married and they're pregnant. Just because, because I mean, again, like he's trying to be like them, like in some way, like Silvio, Tony, they're family men as well as mobsters, and Chris strives to want to be like them, and he want to fit in. He always yearned to fit in. Instead of
I got your
outcast.
answer, Mo.
Huh?
I got your answer too to that question. How you would do it I would do the yayo dance. Y'all watching on YouTube, I'll do the yayo dance.
There it is, yeah. See? Spike figured it out.
Yeah, as some of the kids know it as the John Cena.
Yeah. Which he even acknowledged that it was from Yayo or whatever, but
yeah.
Let me put this here real quick. He's married and pregnant. All right, and that is our episode. We thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all can reach out goodearnerpod@gmail.com. Y'all can hit us up on Instagram as Mrs. Glenetta did. Y'all can DM us.
Shout out Miss Glenetta, man.
Shout out to her.
Definitely. Shout out to Miss Glenetta.
Yeah, absolutely. GoodEarnerPod_Sopranos on Instagram. So again, we thank y'all for tuning in. We thank y'all for your feedback as we continue to be in at the end. Until we come back. Oh, by the way, there will not be an episode the following week. So by the time y'all hearing this, y'all already, getting your turkeys ready. Matter of fact, y'all go back to our Good Earners episode where it was Thanksgiving. Y'all go back to that. But there will not be an episode the following week. So y'all just chill, relax, take it easy, and we'll be back the week after that. December. What was the date?
9th.
December 4th. We'll have an episode, or December 9th.
Okay.
Our next episode will be December 9th.
All right. Yeah. So December 9th. So y'all just buckle in and we'll get back at y'all, man. But remember,
happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
sure.
And happy birthday to my dog Spike Lou.
Spike Lou. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Day after this drops is Spike Lou's birthday, man.
Yeah, he really getting his Tony era, man.
Yeah, man, he on that Jordan lifestyle. Jordan lifestyle, double nickel in the guard. Double nickel, 55 years old, my dog.
You got hit it with the shrug.
Thank you.
Got hit it with the Jordan shrug.
No, I appreciate that, fellas. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, don't forget about it.